Welcome to episode 115 of the Inside Bite. I'm your host, Tim Schaefer. I'm here not with Rudy today. I'm actually here with Nate. Rudy's going to be joining in later with us in the episode, but I've been talking with Nate here. We'll introduce him here in a second, but he has been big into our community, but he wanted to talk on Starfield, and very end, it's funny, before you messaged me, the day before we recorded, and on that episode recording, I was like, man, I really need somebody to talk Starfield on me. The very next day, you messaged me being like, hey, do you want to talk Starfield? And I'm like, speaking of which, yes. And I would love to have you on. So that's what started all this. Nate, why don't you introduce who you are to the audience here and a little more of just why you're even here.
Okay, yeah. I'm Nate Bacon. I'm in the Inside Bite Facebook group. Yeah, I wasn't even trying to get on the show. I just looking for anybody else that's a fan of Starfield just to chit chat things because there's a lot to talk about with that game, the
Yes.
social circle. But yeah,
That's why I jumped at the very chance, is because of what you just said. There's so much to talk on this game, and I just need somebody to just vent all of this Starfield stuff upon, and
well, you could
also
puke it on me.
hear,
Yeah,
yes, and just hear what other people think on it, because I would love to have like a long form discussion. It's been hard trying to
for
find
sure.
them. Even in other podcasts, I hear people like, yeah, I like it, I'm playing or whatever, or they don't, but I haven't really gotten a really good meaty one. We're going to try for 30 minutes on this Starfield topic, but believe me, I could go for hours, as I'm sure
Yeah,
you could as well.
and we can keep it to whatever you want. We can even do another episode if you want. It's up to you. I don't care either way. So this is your show.
Well, you saying that, it would be awesome if once we beat it, like more than even once, like maybe beating it and beating at least a new game plus. Anyway, a little further down the road,
Yeah.
going back on talking it again, and because I keep hearing people say that's when the game truly opens up, and they're not being facetious, they're being for real. They're
I
like, it actually opens up when you beat it, and I'm very curious what they mean.
I can talk to you. I can talk to you about that without any spoilers also during this. So
Okay,
with that, I
okay,
can give you very
okay.
vague answers for what that means. Yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. Well, yeah, I guess let's just hop right into it then. I mean,
Yeah.
later in the episode, we're definitely going to be going with Rudy on the PlayStation,
Hmm.
what state of play that happened,
A lot of good
Nintendo
stuff.
Direct, a lot of awesome stuff to talk on. But let's just jump
Yeah.
right into the Starfield talk.
Okay.
And let's just start with your just brief overall thoughts of the game in general. Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, for my brief. All right. So it's like my dream game. So I love it. Okay. But you got to realize I'm a huge Game Studios fan. So I got into them in Oblivion. A lot of people were before that, but I didn't even beat that game. I was still learning how to play that kind of an RPG, which it takes a lot. And that's part of what this game is too, I think, for a lot of the feedback and a lot of the social stuff and everything is there's more of an audience that's being shoved in their face than there's ever been before, and it's already been a pretty
Yeah.
popular studio. So you're gonna get all kinds of people that play different kind of games. And I enjoyed Oblivion, but like I said, I mean, I had a game breaking bug, um, and it was a lot to go on. I mean, I just got good at basically like getting these crystals to power my enchanted weapons and stuff. And there's just so much going on. It's a very deep game that's usually only on computers, and they've been on consoles. But
What even got you
uh,
playing Oblivion in the first place? Why did you even start the game?
my friend told me about it. It was one of the big exclusive games for the 360 in the very
Okay.
beginning of launch. There was like Call of Duty 2, and then not long after it was Oblivion. And
Were you a big 360 guy at the time? Like, did you have a
I
PS3? Was it
was,
just 360?
I, I,
Okay.
I was, yeah. I was a huge. I was like, I wasn't just a PlayStation fan. I was like a pony. Okay, before that, and I won't go into that long story. That's all for a different
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
but then
But
I ended up
PlayStation
getting on.
1 is my favorite system. So I feel you
That got
there.
me back into gaming
Yeah, yeah.
was PlayStation. Yeah, for sure.
Sure.
So anyway, I got both now, but I
Okay.
never did have two systems in the past just because of money and time and everything. But I do have it now. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but
Same
yeah.
here.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so there was that, and then I got into Fallout 3 and I beat it, but I still they weren't like my favorite studio or anything. I had a lot of gripes with that, even though I had a lot of fun with it. And then Skyrim is when. And I wasn't even gonna play it at first. I was like, "Oh, those graphics still look like garbage, or whatever." And then I played it, and they're my favorite studio ever since then. I just like their kind of game, and it's a very there's no other games I know that are anything like it. they try to do so many things that should normally be like 12 games or more, not in one game. And I know, like, so sometimes people don't like that because it's jack of all trades, but I love it. But it is like taking a college course because their tutorials are garbage.
Were you an
And
RPG guy before these games?
like Final Fantasy VII, but that's a
Okay.
totally different type of
Yeah,
RPG.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay,
So,
okay,
and that took me a while to get used to, but I was able to get used to it.
okay.
And it had way better tutorials.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah. We'll get into that for
yeah,
sure. But
yeah.
um, okay. So you fall in love with you're like
This
you
is
kind of
exactly what I was
mixed on
expecting.
Oblivion, right? And then you fall a little harder into Fallout 3, and then you fall even
Yeah.
harder into Skyrim and being obsessed.
That's just from when I was
Okay.
playing. I mean, I think Oblivion's amazing now, but I didn't
Yeah,
really know what to do with a game like this because there's just so much going on. It's
I understand.
like
Yeah.
Destiny 2, for instance, okay? I won't go into that, and some people love it, some people hate it or whatever, but that game is like very easy to get into and very hard to master. So it covers a lot of bases.
Mm-hmm.
These games are this is not easy to get into, okay? It's not. You might be able to
Yeah.
screw on a little bit, but I mean, it takes so many hours just to get used to what it is, even. Like it's just a whole nother type of thing than a lot of games.
Let's go ahead and go into that discussion now since you bring it up. Might as well. So I'm thinking, right? What is acceptable? Should a game just be this hard to figure out? Because there's a lot of people that like the discovery of this and that, right? And then there's a whole other
Yeah.
crowd that is like, hey, I hate that they're not telling me this or that. So there's such a big range of perspective here. Like, I mean, where do
I
you
think
fall?
nowadays it should be both. But I'm still thinking, like, for instance, if you want a broader range of people, I think, and I noticed this the most in Fallout, it got way worse with Fallout 4 than now Starfield. Before that, it was very hard, but it's gotten way harder since then. Like, because they were hard already, but Fallout 4, when they started doing the settlements, and then not only the
Yeah.
settlements where you could build your own city, you also could do shipping lanes and stuff. And none of that was explained in any way whatsoever. You had to learn through the internet. And Destiny 2, there's a lot of games I'm sure that do this, but Destiny 2 has done this crap too because the way the internet is now. That's
Yeah.
part of the game. That it's like this social thing. So they have purpose make all these puzzles so that people, because some people get pissed if they can't do that, do the socializing thing. I grew up in a time though when you should have a paper book or you can get a Prima guide or it's in game or whatever. So yeah, I think they do 5% of what they could do. And I think a lot of people would getting these games get more addicted if they don't have to explain everything. They could still do a lot of things where
Well,
there's
what
mysteries
if
and
they
stuff.
actually
But
did that though? That's not a bad idea, right? What if Bethesda actually makes a big guide for their game and release it to the public for you to buy at bookstores, you know?
they could do that, or they could. It doesn't do it as much anymore. I don't know if Prima Games exists much anymore because of the internet and YouTube and all these
Yeah.
things. But
It's just more of I don't know if I want it in the game constantly popping up saying, "Hey, do this, hey, do that." Some people would want to just
you can
discover it,
customize it though.
right?
A lot of games aren't this complex, but a lot of games still are complex, and
Yeah, I guess you
they
could
will
just
do
add an
both.
option in the settings. Yeah.
You
Or
can
like
turn it on or off.
accessibility and then just add more hints. Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
a lot of games have it because this has a help section too. Like Fallout 4 did not as much, where there's a lot of things it tells you, but not as good as it should. It should be like the bare minimum, that little help in the settings thing, where you go to a certain section, it should at least have videos telling you exactly what's going on. I mean, there can still be social stuff where you all help each other out with hints and strategies. There's just nothing. And I think when it was Fallout 4, I felt like it was just, they were like, this is really cool. We'll put this in the game. We don't have time to do a proper tutorial because that was only a 10% of the game. A lot of people didn't even care about it or want it. But this game, like, they're leaning in on this is a social thing, that this is
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Bethesda Game
Yeah.
Studios group. So a lot of people that are playing on um, streaming, where it's like not you don't even have a Series X or PC, or they're playing on whatever device to see,
Yeah.
or they're playing it on Game Pass because they don't even this is their first time even doing a Bethesda Game Studios game. Or I mean, there's fans that are nitpicky too, but like you got to realize how many people on Game Pass are just like, well, shit, this is just like a free video game rental. Like I'm just gonna screw around with it. If you screw around with it for 2 hours, you don't even know what the hell you're doing. And I'm not saying you're doing it wrong or that you're a bad gamer. I'm just saying no, you're not. You're gonna be like, this is stupid.
Most people wouldn't understand it and move on and not care. Like, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just think it's a broader stroke right now because of Game Pass, because
Yeah.
of Microsoft's marketing, because it already is a big game studio, but they're marketing the crap out of it because of the exclusive thing. So it's getting shoved in all these people's faces, and then Game Pass, you can do it for almost free, if you have Game Pass, And
Yeah, the numbers
so
are gigantic. It's like 6 million players, right, on actual like day of release. I
yeah,
want to
so
say,
you're going to hear all their feedback too, and it doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means you're getting a lot of noise you never got
yeah,
before, and there was
yeah,
already
yeah.
critiques before. So just keep that in mind when you hear people, being positive or negative or whatever. That's what it is. You got everybody trying it out. Because there's even
Yeah,
PlayStation
yeah,
people that can try it out with streaming or who knows what. I mean, I've heard people doing cloud gaming that don't even have the devices like an Xbox or anything.
yeah.
And so then they have the computer because they're just cloud gaming it, and it might not work as well. But I mean, yeah, there's a lot of people trying it out.
So ultimately, though, I would fall on the spectrum, and I was just kind of playing devil's advocate here and there, but I would ultimately fall on, it was nice. I was playing Final Fantasy 16. I feel whatever on that game, but it had the coolest feature ever. Anything you're curious about, you just kind of like tap the touchpad, and it brings up a menu to where you're like curious on a name they mention, or it's like a
Oh
in-game
yeah,
encyclopedia on anything you could possibly think of who the character you're talking to is, their backstory, whatever, right? Constantly giving you information, really good map, all of that. So when I play Starfield, and the exact opposite of that, it would be really nice to just have a little button I press when I'm talking to a character, and it's like, oh, this is this person, their family lineage is this, and they're from this planet, whatever, right? Like, give me a little synopsis on them. That'd be really neat. And I can imagine mods
for sure.
probably are already integrating this. And
God, I hope so, but
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know.
But it's still like, well, that shouldn't be on players to make. It should just be on the game developers to create such things. But is that, that's the discussion. Is it like, should
For sure.
we ultimately have them responsible for making this stuff or no? That's the ultimate
Well,
question.
that's how I look at it. I look at it like from a developer's perspective, even though I'm not a developer. Okay, so like I don't just look at like what my dreams or imagination is.
Yeah.
I look at that also, but I also look at like how would I do it if I was able to actually be part of this crew? Like it's not just one or the other. And
Yeah.
I think it's a balance because people do want that. They want it to push on the social. I think I prefer if it's a tutorial like you said, and the social is more about like an Easter egg or a secret
Yeah.
spot or a strategy for the game. But it's where the internet's getting so much more of this where people want it to be this social thing so they can have their own YouTube channel or they can watch the whatever and just be completely sucked in. I don't know. I just think they get more gamers though if they was calm down. But what I'm saying is it's a balance. I want it to be what you said, but I think they need to do a little bit of both
Yeah.
to do the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah.
A little bit
Yeah.
of that, a little bit of also like give people a break. I don't
So
know, but
let's roll that into the next topic of all the controversy based around the reception of like players, what they're saying about it, and since there's so many new people playing, like you were saying, the player reception is in the millions of everybody sharing their opinions. And so it's all over the place of other people being like, is this even a good game or not? And nobody can seem to get a clear answer because there's just so many people playing, like you were saying. But that same also reflects on the critics because now you have critics playing it. Dude, I played it like 40 hours. I should be able to talk on the game, right? But to be
yeah,
honest,
it's very
it's
strange.
you can't really do that with this game. It's almost like this game forces an actual good
It's very
review to come
difficult.
out. It would take like a month of time. It really
That's where
is
I'm
that
not
in
sure
depth.
how they did it with the other games.
Yeah.
Now, two things. I think some of it has to do with who the reviewers are, obviously, if they're a fan of this type of game or not. I don't know how they ever did it before, because it takes too long, and this game's even crazier than the other ones.
Yeah, exactly.
But
And a month is being conservative. It may take longer than that. I mean,
this is the other
it's
thing I think when
insane.
it comes to reviewers and players, because we already talked about why there's more people playing it. Also,
Yeah.
the other reason more people are playing it is because there's every year there's more gamers, like people into video
Oh
games
yeah.
that like
Oh
there
yeah.
weren't
Oh
before.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So that
Game
changes
sales
things
are
too.
just overall higher regardless. So yeah. Yeah. Good point there
hmm
too. But
And then what other quality games are out that year? I
mhm.
know
Mhm.
their old ones, got decent reviews or great reviews, or they got rewards, or but that's going to vary based on what the competition is and what people are into that year.
Yeah,
So they're
well,
always going
this
to sell
year
well, I
is the
think, and have
most
their fans.
stacked. This is the most stacked year
Absolutely,
we've ever had, maybe,
absolutely,
period. So,
yeah.
there's a lot going on here. But in the end, like
Follow,
these
yeah,
critics, like I I don't I pretty much don't agree with any critical review right now that I've been seeing because I still keep thinking they didn't spend enough time with the game because they're clearly showing
yeah,
that when you just read their different points. So like, oh, they just genuinely didn't understand that. But is that the game's fault or is that the person's fault? I mean, I don't know if there's anyone you can really blame. You just need more time with it.
for
That's all.
sure.
Yeah.
One person that was a very did a very honest thing, and I'm not saying he's great all the time or this podcast is great all the time or whatever, but the guy Greggy from Kind of Funny,
Yeah.
he actually addressed all that. To where he was like, I don't even know how I can do a review right now, and this is the good and this is the bad, but I have no clue yet because of how time consuming this
So
game
he
is,
did
you
do
know.
that. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and then he also had it where like other people from Kind of Funny that played it, they all talk stuff, and a lot of them trashed on it in the first like 20 minutes or whatever because their frustrations because it's so confusing, you know.
Yeah.
And then after they talk long enough, he starts saying that stuff. They did start saying, well, this is all this good, and this is all this bad, and this is all this holy cow, you know, like it's just this game is not that. Yeah, they just try. They're making their dream game, and they don't give a crap. And luckily, it's sold well enough that they stay in business because they're just like, this is the game I want to play, and I don't give a shit. So that's really what they do.
Yeah.
That whole
Yeah.
studio,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
I think a good 40% of that studio is the same guys that made Morrowind. So you know.
And that was my favorite
That's
that
a
they've
lot of
ever
people's
made
favorite.
is
And I didn't
Morrowind.
get to play
And
that one much because it was outdated by the time I got into it. But yeah,
and I think I said it to you in the chat we were talking in, but this is the first time I felt those Morrowind vibes, and I don't know how to
it's
describe it. I
really
guess it's
cool.
just like the monster
It's really cool.
designs or like the way the environments
Maybe
look. Like
I was
they
excited you were
harken
into it
back to Morrowind.
because you're into a ton of stuff, but you're so into Nintendo, and
I
Nintendo is
am. I am.
all about polish, man. No matter
Yeah,
how
yeah.
open world or how linear or whatever, like they just polish the living crap out of their
I
stuff.
hated it on Skyrim because polish was terrible. I hated it on Fallout because polish
Sure,
was terrible, right? So I
for sure.
haven't liked one since the
Yeah,
polish of Morrowind. That's my big
yeah,
problem. So when I'm
yeah.
playing Starfield, it is polished. I think it's pretty dude, for an open world game this size, this is
It
insanely
is.
good polish.
I still get
Like
bugs. However,
yes, but it's
it
pretty
is more
minor
polished than
stuff. Like I don't
it
know. At
is.
least
It
for
is.
me,
It is.
I
Well, it depends
I'm
on what you're
80
doing.
hours
I'm doing
in
some.
and I've
Yeah.
barely seen any, if at all. But
I
maybe we're
think
doing
you're doing.
completely different things.
I think you're in a good PC, and you're also doing more the adventuring.
Yeah,
Where like I'm doing like pushing stuff to it's not graphics wise, but like I'm doing outposts and shipbuilding and stuff where it's like,
yeah. I
holy
haven't done
crap.
any of that. Okay.
Yeah. So it's
Does it
nothing that's like
chug a
really immersive.
little or something?
No, it's not about the chugging. It's
Okay.
it'll either work or else it okay, so the two biggest ones are it'll just crash and go to the main screen. You got to realize I have not had this happen
In the
very often.
shipbuilder?
Yeah, and when I'm in the
Oh,
outpost, an outpost that has a lot going on. Yeah.
okay,
And
okay.
the other thing in the outpost is a lot of times it's when I'm going to a menu and a lot of stuff is going on. But anyway, at the outpost, I'll have a lot of stuff going on, and sometimes I'll go into the builder because you go into the builder and you can buy new stuff and put it around, or you can go into like this other thing, manual or something, where you can move stuff around or adjust it.
Okay.
And I'll go in sometimes and you can't even like scroll through stuff. It just sits there and goes, what? So I have to like go
Okay.
back out or save and load. And that's happened to a lot of people where you have to save and load if there's a really big problem. However, this
Uh
is not like people clipping into things or floating around or nonsense. Like those things can happen. I've seen a little bit, but none of that kind of stuff that is normal for them.
the only
I've only
thing
had
I've
one person
seen.
be, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, the I have had one person in a store that's wearing underwear and they're not supposed to. So I've heard of that happening sometimes, but I've only had it happen once.
No,
But
I was saying I've seen 3 times I can count in the. I think I'm 75 hours in. I've played a lot. Um, anyway, 3 times I've seen somebody do a weird thing with their head. Right when they're like walking
mm,
by you or something, or like their
uh-huh,
eyes will get really messed up or something, and
uh-huh,
lock in position, something like that. Some weird head eye animation thingy.
uh-huh.
Otherwise, that's it. I haven't seen anyone
That's
stuck on
awesome.
a wall. I haven't seen
Yeah.
anyone, I don't know, flipping through a wall, clipping, or you know what I mean, or I don't
I
know,
think.
being able to pick something up and it not registering. I used to get that
Oh
with
no, I
like Bethesda
nope,
games
haven't
all
had
the
that problem.
time. I haven't had
Yeah,
it with this game.
no,
Most
I,
of the problems that because I still always try to play them, right? When Skyrim, I really genuinely kept trying, but I just kept being too annoyed and eventually stopped. But there's a plethora of bugs constantly, but I'm not feeling that with this game. I really am not. So I'm really happy
Well, the
with
thing
it.
about this game too, their games are really, it's a learning thing. I do want the tutorials to be like that too, but like at first it's overwhelming, and sometimes you'll be like, screw this, I'm just gonna go play a different game.
Yeah.
And then other times you get addicted. This is where I'm at now. I get addicted to it. I get addicted to constantly want to learn a new aspect of the game. Like I'm not. Some people might be like, I don't care about outposts, because you don't have to do that. That's the thing too. You can do whatever you want. Like, don't think that you're just gonna like in a 40 hours you're gonna master all of the
That's what I'm saying.
level
I
up stuff.
haven't done a single outpost thing and I'm 80 hours. So this could
Right.
apply to
You don't
what?
have to do shipbuilding either.
Yeah,
You don't have to do
there's
any of
I haven't done any of that either. So there's
it. Yeah.
probably, let's say, 80 deep systems and maybe I
Yes,
know 40
exactly.
of them. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's how I feel.
So if you like learning new stuff and it doesn't have to be right away, then you get addicted
Yeah.
to it, and then you play other games, and I still have fun with it. Like I loved. I actually really want to play a lot of Nintendo games. I just don't have the system right now, and I loved a lot of PlayStation linear games recently, like Last of Us and stuff like that. But I love this because like those games, I start to miss the learning,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
constant getting better at something and sharing it with other people.
Other games feel pretty shallow in comparison. Yeah. Yeah.
If you're in the mood for that,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
had that more cinematic experience,
Mhm.
and the short-term wow factor. So this thing of like a
Yeah.
system seller, like what I don't know, a lot of PlayStation Nintendo games are, but also like what Halo was back in the day, the very first one,
Right? Yeah.
where the graphics were like what, you know?
Mhm.
And this is not that. This is a totally different thing. This is not a. I'm going to look at it for half an hour and go,
Well, let's talk about
wow.
that. The graphics. What do
Yeah,
you think on the graphics? Because I
yeah.
I went back and forth in the
Yeah, I definitely want to
beginning
hear
a
yours.
little bit, right? But
Uh-huh.
ultimately, I think it's a solid, let's say like 8 out of 10 of like what you would expect this
Uh-huh.
generation when it comes to graphics. It's
I
pretty
think.
good. It's not the
Yeah.
best, but it's pretty good. Like that's how I see it.
Yeah. That's interesting to hear about, because I think that this has definitely been their stuff since I think Skyrim. Okay, because I still think Fallout 3 is good of a game. It was. I swear that game looked like ash, like shit. Okay, but
No, it did. It did.
yeah, but since Skyrim though, I think it's like these games. If you look at it for like, yeah, just 5 minutes or something like that, you're like, it's not like garbage. Okay, some people say it is, but it's definitely not wowing me. All right, but if you sit and play it for like a couple hours, you do notice things like the attention to detail of rooms and people's clothes
Well, that's what
and how many different
excites
things.
me, and that's why I put it
Yeah,
so
and the
high, is because
textures.
the attention to small details
There's
everywhere.
so many small
Yeah,
details. That's
yeah,
exactly what it is. And then it blows your mind. And Skyrim did too, and this
yeah.
one does too for me. However, like, yeah, God, I
I
mean, like
guess
I
like a
showed some of
wall
those.
texture isn't like the greatest. Let's just something like that, right? But even
No, a
that
lot
looks
of them
fine
are
to
though.
me. I don't know. I don't know
Oh,
how to word it, but I get what you're
yeah,
saying. Maybe on a technical front,
for
there's a
sure.
certain object that may not look the greatest, or maybe
Yeah,
just
oh yeah.
character faces don't look,
Especially,
look
oh, that's the
weird.
biggest
Yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah,
That is the biggest one that you notice right away. That you don't see the pores in their face, or the lighting doesn't. It looks like a robot at Disney World or whatever, and it's just for some reason. But and that's this engine, I think, and I think the
yeah,
reason why they use this engine that people don't realize, they just like, no, the engine is all about the graphics. So this engine, they should use Unreal or Unity or something different. And I think the reason why they use it, and they did improve for this game, okay, is part of it is the graphics, okay. Obviously, they can't easily do mocap because everything seems like it's slider done for the
yeah,
animations, which is
yeah, yeah,
improved
yeah,
a great amount since Fallout 4, okay, but it's not mocap, and a lot of things
yeah,
are mocap
yeah.
now, like
That's
Mass
the
Effect back in
problem.
the day.
I agree. Like
Yes,
without that, you just can't compete to the others. Yeah,
so they're
yeah.
doing amazing for a slider.
Mm-hmm.
But we're used to mocap where it just, so
Yeah.
I don't know what the story is for that in the game engine. The reason why I think they're using this game engine is because they are able to simulate a lot of things going on at once, and I don't mean just graphics,
No,
gameplay
all the
stuff.
objects, all
Yeah,
of
and
the, yeah,
all the physics, but also all of the customization. You
yes.
can have all of your NPCs that are friends with you. You can change their clothes, their weapons. Um, you can all the colors
It
and
has to
build up.
calculate
Yeah,
thousands of changes on
yeah,
whatever's displaying on screen at once, like
and not
pretty
slow
much
down or
at all
crash.
times. Yeah. So,
Yes.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's so many examples I can use for that. And a lot of people have a hard time grasping their head around it because they don't do that in a lot of open world games. The open world games are so awesome. They're huge. It's not just this little area. They got to be able to do that and not load every room, but like they still don't have as much going on as what this is. I mean, like
Somebody put
Far Cry and
10,000 potatoes in a room, right, and
yes.
had them fall out. If I don't know if you saw that video, but I was just like, only a game like this could do something that just cool.
Well, I
I don't know.
remember in the first Halo, it blew my mind that I could drop a weapon on accident or whatever, and then like we would blow it up with a grenade or whatever, and it never disappeared. I could play in that level for an hour and come back and I could find it. I'm like, this is amazing. Halo 2, if it sat there for 10 seconds, it just disappeared because
Yeah,
they
yeah,
needed to
yeah.
keep the memory for the graphics for how good it looked and everything.
Yeah,
I don't
so
know how they did it in
everything
the
in
first one.
Bethesda, they always do that, right? They just have everything
Yeah, they got to
constantly
remember a lot of
saved and
stuff. And
cached. Yeah.
oh yeah, like Fallout, I mean, they only remember so much, but it's not all what's on screen because it's usually just what's on screen. They don't think about anything off screen
Yeah,
ever,
yeah.
whether it's graphics or anything else. And yeah, they have to remember a lot of stuff that's going on. I mean, in
Yeah.
Fallout 3, the thing I remember is they remembered like we're at this aircraft carrier that was like a city. And every morning people would get up and go get breakfast and go to their job and do all these things. And there's all kinds of stuff like that going on all the time.
Yeah.
And they don't
Yeah.
have to remember it completely, but it's not based on being on your screen. They don't think about it then. They already have it figured out if you
Yeah,
go there.
it's
What's going
it's
on?
running in a minor way in the background, but it still has to be running in the background. Like,
Yeah, and then
yeah,
if you go into a ship and the gravity's off and all that stuff's floating around, and then
yeah,
also it's remembering you talk to this person and now they're going to bump into you later, and
yeah,
there's just all this stuff that makes it really magical. But if you don't think about that, you're like, why isn't this like Last of
yeah. So the
Us?
downfall of that could be, well, now the faces look a little weird, but hey, I'm gonna take it, I
Right.
guess, because I want this game engine. I don't want Unreal game engine. I want this game engine. Like, yeah, yeah,
Because all those things going on.
yeah.
Because I think it's a 7 out of 10 graphics. I don't think it's just 1 or 10. So you're being nice by 8 out of 10.
I, I
However, there are
I
a lot
say
of
that
spots
because when
without.
I'm looking at, I don't know, my inside of my
There
ship
is.
or inside of a house or
Oh, there's
like,
detail. The
no,
detail is
it's like, it
so
reminds me of
impressive.
like Red Dead Redemption 2, like of just
Yeah, I think.
not as good because it just doesn't look as good, but the
Yeah,
attention to detail is still there as that game was,
that's
and
why I
it's
think the
like,
more you
yeah,
play it, yeah, yeah. I mean, like the lodge.
yeah,
Here's the thing. This is the best example for me, and this is throughout the whole game because there's so much material. But if you go into New Atlantis, okay, not all of New Atlantis, but like just the when you come in off your ship and you're going into like just the first shops, and it's nighttime, okay. Daytime, I don't know what it's like compared to, but it's nighttime, okay. And those cool trees are there, and the little lighting in the shade. It looks pretty garbage, okay. If you just look at it for like 30 seconds, okay, you're like, what is this? This is really bad compared to something like yeah, like Zelda or Last of Us or whatever. But you go to the lodge, and you're like, holy crap, this is 10 out of 10 almost. Other than the mocap stuff, all that wood grain and all the little. I mean, it's so good. It's just like so, and there's a lot of things that are like that. I think the worst is actually New Atlantis at night when you're walking around the streets.
yeah,
But
and that's probably because yeah, even in neon when you're walking at night with the rain, that looks way better than what it
oh
would
yeah,
in,
Neon's
yeah,
actually really impressive.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, a
yeah.
lot of yeah, but it's the
So I'm
detail,
with
the
you there.
textures,
It
and the little
depends.
aspects.
Like, some areas could not have much going on. Other areas could have a lot. So yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Hmm. Well, one thing too, real quick, because I know we got to keep going and stay on track, but is like this is a big thing because I don't see this in a lot of games. So if people want to tell me about it, then I would love to play those other games also. But if at an outpost, if I make a building and I put a window in it, and then I got an NPC assigned to there, and he's in there like sitting in a chair or something to do or something, like I could be outside and look through the window and it's doing all that stuff. Okay, but even bigger deal is when you're in your ship and you go to a planet, and all that stuff's going on. Where like the lights changing and time of day and blah blah blah. And you put windows on because a lot of times you don't have to have very many windows to your cockpit on your ship. But any of those windows, you can see what's going on outside, whether you're landed or whether you're in outer space. Or it's not like it's just loading a separate room that has nothing to do with outside, where it's pre-made.
Yeah. You're right.
And that's pretty immersive to me. But it's also difficult. Most games will not do that because if you're trying to make it look like crazy realistic graphics, it's like very difficult to do.
Yeah.
Now I know
Yeah.
that they
Yeah.
do make you load into a lot of areas. That's true, and they always did do that. But there's less now. You can fast travel to different types of
Yeah, I
things
think
more
that's
than ever, and
pretty minimal. I mean, I think that's definitely getting blown out of proportion.
oh, it's totally
It's
getting blown out of
it's
proportion.
it's pretty minor. I think
Yeah,
it's pretty average for a video game. Not nowadays, because once this gen started, right? The SSDs, and now everything's just sort of instant. Where this is more like 3 or 4 or 5 seconds and then you're in. It's not a big shift. If I was waiting 20 or 30 seconds, then I'd be complaining. But
Well,
it's
people are
just
so
yeah.
used to how much it's changed in Skyrim.
Hmm.
Absolutely, yeah, I know, and it's just yeah, it's just critiquing it because of I don't know. They make a big like for instance, God of War was phenomenal on how like you can't tell that they're loading stuff even though
Yeah,
they are.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
So sure, I would like that here, but I don't know. It's a minor thing for me, but everyone's different. It could be a big deal to somebody else, but it's just not to me.
for sure. I
Yeah,
think a lot of people too are also judging it just on a whim about like thinking of the technical stuff because they want to show off the
yeah,
technical stuff. Where they're like, why can't I do the No Man's Sky thing where I fly into the planet? They could have done that. It would have taken away other things that you can do in this game, but they could have done that. It's not even just a technical thing, which is part of it. It's a balancing thing. Same with the. We'll see what they do with the mods, okay? But like the running around on the planet, that is a balancing thing about how often you run into stuff and
yeah, yeah,
experience
yeah,
things. That is not because they couldn't have put it in there. They're trying to balance the gameplay. And same thing, they don't want you. Maybe if you did it once and then now they don't let you do it ever again, that would be cool where you could go through the atmosphere and go into there. But they don't want you to spend that much time. For instance, Morrowind, it was real hardcore and the hardcore people were pissed about this, but you actually had to go on a taxi and go all the way to somewhere. There was no
yeah,
fast travel and
yeah,
crap.
yeah.
But nowadays, that's pretty difficult. This game already takes so many hours, just like playing World of Warcraft or whatever. You don't need to add to it with some things.
Yeah,
You
people are
know?
complaining of like the fast travel. I want to get into that because they're like,
Yeah.
I'm just zipping around everywhere and I'm just in the menus. First of all, no, you're not. You're highly exaggerating for attention. First of all, you're still clearly once you fast travel
Yeah.
there, you're now still talking to people. You're still going into whatever house. You're still shooting whatever people. There's still stuff happening. So calm down.
Oh, and you can do that
But
for a long time for sure. Yeah.
but two, I don't know. The more options, the better. If you don't want to fast travel everywhere, then don't do it. It's up to you. It's not up to the game because it has
Yeah.
the option. Now you're forced to use it. If you really have a
This is
problem with
actually
fast traveling everywhere, just don't do it. I
this
don't know.
gives you the most options to fast
Yeah,
travel than ever before, but they still don't. It's still like there are other games that people don't realize. Like,
yeah,
if you were going somewhere like a building or a city in that big area of their world, okay, you couldn't fast travel yet. That was Oblivion too. You had to discover that city first, but
yes,
then you could fast travel.
yes,
And this just has more things going on, so it's like that too. Like if you're going to go to a star system the first time, you have to actually like do the grab thing and
exactly.
all that
You
stuff.
could be too far from a planet, right? So what they do, if people don't know, you have to travel to maybe a different galaxy first and then go to the one you want because there's just too much in between and you can't gravity jump that far. So it does that on purpose. One, just for the sake of fun and discovery, right? What if you go into a new solar system and all of a sudden you find a really cool planet you'd want to see, or maybe ship battles happening when you go there, whatever. They can make a cool moment happen for you when you first have to jump there, right? So you might as well let them create a little more crafted experience for you than for you to just instantly be able to teleport there without that in between. They're just trying to
Well,
make
what
the game more interesting.
It's true, and some people want to do that a little more often because you get more random encounters
Yeah,
with different good and bad with the ships. However, you're still going to get those if you play this game enough, okay? When
yeah,
you go to the new areas, so you don't have to. You really can like really, once you know a place, you can sit there and go through all the maps or in the star thing. That's the upper left of your circle or whatever in the menus. You can and you can do that from like a table in your room. There's so many different ways to get the navigation word, but
yeah,
anyway, a little too many without the tutorials. But and then you can pick that city, like Jameson or whatever, and New Atlantis. You could pick New Atlantis once you've been there and everything, and it won't make you do any of that crap. You'll just load into being landed at New Atlantis, okay? But that's because you've been there already. And I don't know. But yeah, there's a lot going on. So that's just ways to save time because it's already so time consuming to do a lot of this stuff. And you want to get back to the adventure.
yeah. Let's get into. We're just gonna say what we like and what we don't like about the game. Pretty simple, okay?
Okay.
But I would
I know
just
we got to
like to
wrap this up
just
soon. Yeah.
ramble on like what are some things that you were just genuinely really impressed by the game or just really like about the game, or could just be the fact that it's super fun and that's it, whatever. But just get into whatever you like and I'll do the same.
Okay. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of knew some of this stuff was going to happen, but I didn't know about all of them. Like one of the things I dreamt about that they did do was that I can sit there and go to a planet or fly around, get in a space battle, and anytime I want, I can just get out of my chair and walk around the ship. I don't get to do that in really any other game that I can think of. I
I
mean,
wasn't
like for
expecting
instance,
that when it first happened. I'm like, oh wait, this is cool. Yeah, yeah.
yes, that makes me feel like Han Solo or whatever. I mean, I just love it's so immersive. I
Yeah.
really love that.
I could see people into like Star Trek really liking that too, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, for
yeah.
sure. But I mean, like other games like Star Citizen, Elite Dangerous, No Man's Sky, they all have different good things that they're really good at. This game is doing, 36 different things. So like they're doing one or two of those things, and they didn't do it the same on purpose. It wasn't because of the technology, Elite Dangerous is a great game, but it's a space combat simulator, Star Trucker type of
Yeah,
game, and
yeah.
they all are good at certain things. This one is specifically, it really is, their dream game about Fallout or Skyrim in space. And when it is that, I posted a thing about this before, I think, and this is the best way I can explain it, okay, without doing specifics, and then I'll let you do specifics or whatever. But um, it's like there's parts of it that are like Firefly and Yellowstone. When I say that, Firefly, if any of these watch that or Serenity or whatever, it's because it's a mix between like a Western and space. And there's definitely a part of this that's like that. And then if you
Yes.
do their faction quest, which is because there's cops type stuff at New Atlantis, but you do cop stuff at in the Freestar area,
Yeah, I
and
did
it's more
join
like
them. I
Yellowstone.
am doing quests for them. I have been enjoying it quite a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's this one in the early on, and I'm not going to ruin anything, but like you go and it could be daytime or night depending on when you go. That's the thing too. Everybody has different experience. I went there at night, so you hear like the different noises at night and the different lighting and everything, and I'm questioning this lady about her farm and these people that have been harassing her or whatever. And it just totally felt like, yeah, Yellowstone. They
Oh,
have parts of it where,
that whole string of
yeah,
events from that was so cool. Yes, yes, yes.
yeah. I
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, that
I
was
wish I
definitely
could
a lot of
talk on
cool.
it, but it would just ruin the whole
Yeah,
moment.
so some
And
things
yeah.
exactly I don't want to ruin. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was one of them for me.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, the being able to see outside all the time, no matter where I was, a different port or a different planet or whatever, and I can see out the windows. I
yeah.
love the photo mode because there's so many different ways you can do awesome photos.
Yep.
Um, yeah.
What do
Oh,
you
I
think
like the
about the
look. This
gun?
is
What do you
dumb.
think about the gunplay?
Oh, it's a gigantic improvement over any other games.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's supposed to be Call of Duty or whatever, but it's the closest I've ever seen an RPG. Like, I used to make excuses for Fallout, and they were excuses because it was garbage. This feels really good. I mean, not just the shooting, because this isn't a competitive multiplayer game. Okay, you're
yeah,
not you're
yeah.
not fighting other people, but like the reload animations, the variety of guns. Fallout 3, okay, had hardly any costumes or guns. Okay, thank God that New Vegas had more. This has so many outfits, and I mean, you might have to go to check some lockers or go to some different stores that you find. The guns you're just gonna find. Okay, so with
I love the
ships,
weapon wheel too of when you're selecting how many
yeah,
different guns you can pick. It's super
yeah,
convenient because I
and you can
was
do it
worried about
fast.
that. Yeah, yeah. You can
Oh
do
yeah,
it
you
real
have to
quick.
have that. I
Yeah.
even do different medicine. It's not just med packs. I'll do
Me
certain
too.
ones that
Hmm.
like boost certain things. Yeah, yeah, I love that wheel. It's necessary in this game.
Yes,
You have to
yes,
have that.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
So what I said on last episode is the gameplay, like the actual gunplay.
mhm.
Yes, it's not a Doom, a Wolfenstein, a Call of Duty,
Oh no, 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 no,
but it's also leaps and bounds, like you said, from Fallout. So it
no. Yeah.
feels. I just said like a normal video game. I don't know. It's just like it's average at
I mean,
shooting, but because of how many gun options and how much just variety it has and how you can take
yeah,
down enemies, that's where the fun comes in and ends up being a lot more fun than just the straight. Okay, yes, the control of the gun could be better, I guess, but you don't really think about that much because it's more about really cool RPG shooting stuff. So think more on the levels of I don't know, like when you were playing
the ASCX.
Mass Effect, right?
Oh,
Let's
Mass
think
Effect
Mass
for sure.
Effect, right? Like let's think like Mass Effect 2 or 3. It got a lot more action focused and there was still shooting with thing. But even this is better gameplay than Mass Effect by a pretty large margin. Like,
Yeah, I think
I
it had pretty good gameplay, but I think the visceral experience of the sounds and the feel of the guns and the reloads and everything were not even remotely as good as this.
well,
Yeah,
I'm comparing to what was around it, right? So let's say Mass Effect 2, right?
sure.
Yes, it was an okay third-person shooter or whatever, I guess. But if you were to stick it next to Gears of War, you know what I'm saying? Even at that time,
Yeah,
Gears of War would blow it out of the water. It's not even
for
close.
sure.
So
Oh yeah,
that's what
totally.
I'm trying to say is it's like it's better than Mass Effect was, but a lot of time has passed. But it's kind of in that realm of like, sure, it's an
Well,
okay
have you
third,
ever Deus Ex Machina, the newer ones? Though I
yeah.
think it's like
It
that or
feels like
better.
that.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a good way to put it. That's what it feels like.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And that was an RPG too. It's just it was
yeah,
more focused on just a couple categories. But
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a actually really good
you know what's
comparison.
hilarious? The voice actor for the main character in those two games, he is Sam Coe. Okay, and what's funny is you can kind of
Wow.
tell if you
Well,
really
I know
know,
now that you said, it makes total
right?
sense. Yeah.
But he doesn't lean towards that Solid Snake type of voice like
Mhm.
he
Mhm.
did in Ex Machina. He actually sounds more like Nathan Fillion in Firefly to me, even though it's the actor from. But yeah, he does. You can tell a little bit.
That's cool. Uh,
Yeah.
All right. Well, what are some things that not just bad onboarding, right? Cuz that can be
Oh yeah. Yeah, okay.
divisive. But let's just outright say the things you don't like about the game. Outside of like, well, it doesn't explain this to you, right? Is there anything you just don't like about the game?
There's only one thing other than me trying to use all these examples of things you should know how to do. Um, and that's the game's fault, not yours. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, the only thing that took me out of immersion so far, and like I said, there's a little bit of, where I crashed a couple times, but it's been very, I like the game so much more that doesn't bother me at all because I've had to deal with that crap before. Um, some people that might be the end of it, but I don't know anything else that I can do this kind of stuff in. So anyway,
Yeah, yeah.
um, I was at this one thing, or I'm trying to be vague so I don't ruin too much, but you're at this mission and it's like this business type of place, okay, and you're there, and there's a special VIP area where this person is, and you're following a fugitive, okay, that's in that area, and they don't want to at the business. They don't want you to be able to go in there, even though you're a cop, probably because they pay enough, blah blah blah. So you find a way in there, okay, and you go in there. It's really cool. It's like a movie, or a TV show or anything,
I
like
haven't
someone's
seen
dead.
this, so
So
this
that's
is
why I
all
want to be
new to
vague. But
me.
there's
Yeah,
because this could happen in lots of other missions. This is just
yeah.
one specific. But anyway, you go in there. There's like a person that works there is dead, and you're like, oh crap, this person knew I was onto them, and they killed him, and they're getting away or whatever. So you have to do detective work, and it's all this stuff. So anyway,
Huh.
that was awesome. That was
Okay.
awesome.
That sounds really cool.
The thing that was immersion breaking for me. This is the only time I found it so far in the game. Is I go back out there and I realize, yeah, these people are dicks. They were a pain in the butt. I could have maybe found a way to coerce them into letting me in there, but I failed the checks for the talking. So I found a different way in. Anyway, I go out there to try to tell them this wing of your business, has a dead person. Like you should probably know to like clean it up and do an investigation and everything. And no, it was acting like I never even went in there at all. Like it was acting like all these people still wanted to help me with my
Oh,
investigation and how to get in
wow.
find this fugitive. And it's like,
Huh.
why are you still stuck on? They just expect you to go. Whoever made that level just expects me to go. Oh, I got my information where the guy is, so I'm just gonna run away and go find them.
And the rest of
And
the world didn't react because usually
they
they
didn't know.
would, but
Yeah,
I
and
guess there's
sometimes they
some
do in this game.
pockets. I guess there's some pockets where they just
Yeah,
don't. Okay,
not in
okay.
that one they didn't. But this
That
is
hasn't
here's another
happened
thing
to me
too.
yet, so I don't
That's
know.
inexcusable to me because
Yeah,
that is immersion breaking in my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah,
However,
yeah.
people have mentioned some things that this game is definitely not. They are trying to do all these other things that are really cool and adventuring and awesome and immersion, but like it's not GTA. So because it's not GTA, you're not going to go in New Atlantis and point a gun at somebody and everyone's going to freak out and
Oh
think it's a real
yeah,
life.
yeah, 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 yeah. There's
You
I've seen
know,
a lot of people make fun of that of like I can't shoot people in the streets. Like it's not that type of game.
they'll
It's
still freak
not
out on
that.
you if you do a certain thing, but you're right. It's not that type
Yeah.
of game. Here's another example, real quick. That Bethesda Game Studios game is different than GTA. So who knows about the next GTA? Okay, but all the past ones. This is what kids also need to realize. They probably shouldn't be playing the game if they are, about how it's not real life. Okay, there was a guy in GTA 4 that was like a guy that was talking, like some religious crazy stuff. And I'm not against religion, okay, but
Yeah,
he's the
yeah,
street talker
yeah.
guy. He annoyed the crap out of me. So every morning I would get up and I would stab him to death, and I would go do a thing, okay, and and an ambulance comes and uses magic shock paddles, and no one ever dies in GTA ever. They always come back to life because after you kill them, the
Yeah.
shock paddles come
Yeah.
and they come back to life, and that's the best example of why you would know that because that guy's a specific person.
Hmm.
So now in Skyrim, there's a guy doing that. It's the exact same thing in a city. And I don't normally do this stuff. I am a good guy usually. I do not do bad stuff. You can do all these different things. Okay.
Yeah.
But I found him. I didn't want to get in trouble with the cops and everything, so I went into his house at night and stabbed him to death, so I didn't have to hear him every damn time I went to that town because he's bugging the shit out of me. So, that's one of the differences. He stays dead. GTA does not
You
have
got
that,
away
but
with
there
it
are a
at
lot of
least,
really
right?
cool things about GTA. Yeah, what?
You definitely got away with it, right?
I did, yeah.
Okay. I was just making sure you didn't get caught. That's all.
No,
Anyway.
no. Oh, one thing people complain about with this game too that you have to learn about because they don't tell you is so Sarah and Sam, okay, are very moral type people, okay. So
Oh,
they're
I
going
already
to
know
get
what you're
really mad.
getting at.
Yes.
They
However,
will
I have
be
not tested this
nagging
out.
over this
Yes.
or that of
Yes.
what you're doing. And so
So the two
that's
other
why.
things, yes, the two other things you can do. One is there is a way to go to a lot of bars throughout the galaxy, and if you look with you're going to want to use that scanner for everything. Okay, you don't want to scan it like Batman. Okay, but you bring it out for a lot of things. And like if you're at a bar, it'll just say civilian, civilian, minor, whatever. It'll say some specialist, like an engineer or something. That's someone you can recruit to be your
Yeah.
companion to go on with your missions or be on your ship or be at your outpost or whatever. So you can get those people, and some of them might not give a crap. Barrett and
Yeah. But
starts with an
again, some
A.
of them don't care. Some do, though. And how do you even know until it happens? And it's like, do you even risk it?
Exactly.
And yeah.
Exactly. But you can always repair the relationship or make it worse for us. So some of them do not care. They're fine with it. Vasco I does not care, and Barrett I
Yeah,
don't
the
think
ro-
cares.
the robot doesn't care. Barrett, I think people have
He's
found
might be
ways for
more in the
him to
middle.
care, but he's
Yeah,
very little on the care. But I think
right.
some things he will care about.
And then the
But
Anja or what her name is, the one that's like a special
yeah,
forces badass girl. I don't think she gives a shit. So just there's options, just so people know for whatever
yeah,
your
yeah,
gameplay
yeah.
style is. It's not just
Well,
the
I
game
think it's
showing you
just more
everything.
of some people care a lot and some people care a little, and you just have to roll
Yeah.
with the people that
Well, if you look at that
pretty much
balance
agree with how
too,
you play, right?
there's
It's like,
guys and girls if you look at that because the dating thing
yeah,
that care
yeah,
or don't care, not to
yeah,
mention
yeah,
people can be gay or not gay, so there's all
yeah,
kinds of
yeah.
options. Yeah.
Now, I did the option right when I started the game. I was going through my perks. I didn't look enough into this game to know what the perks were outside of that initial video, but I forgot them. Anyway, I'm mentioning
Yeah.
the fact of when I
Yeah,
was
this
looking
is good.
through, I saw the admiring fan and I was like, "Hmm."
Yeah.
And I start
Yeah.
thinking about it and I was like, "Dude, I'm actually going to pick him and I'm going to have this perk because I would love to just have somebody not care about what I do." Cuz I kind of
Yeah,
figured
that's
they
fun.
would do this in this game. And they
Yeah.
definitely did. Way more
Yeah.
than I even imagined. But
Yeah.
admiring fan just nullifies, he doesn't care what you do. He's actually, as you're killing people, he's like, "Oh, you're great at killing people,"
That's awesome.
praising you as you're just mowing people down. So
Well, that's that sense of
uh,
humor too.
yeah.
I mean, it's not as extreme as Fallout is, but they still have a lot of sense of humor in this game. I
Yeah,
think it's
yeah,
even more
yeah.
than Skyrim. Yeah, but
So you could do the
that's really
Myron
cool.
fan or you can do the robot. And yeah, just wanted to mention that. Something I don't like about the game, I
Uh-huh.
was asking you because I can't think of one outside of just the game not telling you this or that, right? That's the only thing I can. Anything
Or the
revolves
graphics being
around,
7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10. Yeah, yeah.
but the graphics, like, I don't know, could they be better? I mean, sure, I would like them to be, but at the same time, it's like that just feels like an impossible ask. So I just don't care
But
about
if
it.
you only
But
do,
maybe if I just really
if
thought
you
about
don't,
it, yes, maybe
if
I
you only do like what a linear game would be, if you just do that little amount, don't
yeah.
explore or push some buttons or
It's a lot
switches
easier
and
to
screw
make it
around.
look better.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. So people just do that. They're
Yeah.
like, "Well, this is nonsense. Why don't they make it look like that? This is ridiculous." They don't know unless they play more of the games or watch videos and people talk about it or whatever.
I'm just too much into the video game industry to already know I shouldn't be
You
expecting these
do.
things.
I'm just saying a lot of gamers might not, so
Yeah,
I'm giving them a
yeah,
grain of
yeah.
salt. But yeah, yeah,
So
that is really the
yeah,
reason
yeah,
why.
yeah.
because
Yeah.
they couldn't do other features without it. And a lot of people have a hard
Yeah.
time believing because they'll be like, well, look at Witcher 3 though, and that is a phenomenal game. It does not do what they're doing here.
Yeah.
Yes, it's an
Yeah.
RPG. Yes, it's open world. You can't even make your own character. I mean,
Yeah.
they did Cyberpunk's even different, and they pushed that farther where it was closer to a Bethesda game
Well, and
Creator
that's
game, and
why
you
there was
saw
so
that
many
was difficult
problems because there's so much going
because it's
on.
new.
I mean,
Yeah, and it's not easy to
it's
do.
not
It's not
easy.
easy to do.
Like Bethesda's been doing it for a long time, so yeah.
They have since
Yeah.
the '90s. Yeah, yeah.
Um so but for a first attempt it was actually pretty good and now it's great. So
Oh,
I mean, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
for
But
sure.
it definitely was a hard climb. So,
Yeah,
they showed the whole world how hard it is, you know.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I love CD Projekt Red, but that didn't surprise me. A lot of people are like, "Oh my God, the world's ending." I'm like,
It's
not
harder than you
shocked
think,
at
bud.
all. It's very hard. Yeah, yeah. If you want to do
Yeah.
that kind of simulation, yeah.
Hmm. All right. Well, I just wanted to leave this discussion
Hmm.
well, we got two things here, real quick. One, Bethesda just announced a bunch of like game fixes and updates that you're expecting to be having soon. So I wanted to go over that. So here's a tweet that they posted. It's been a few days at this point, maybe even a week. I don't remember this. Let's say I think it's a few days. Anyway, uh, this is at Bethesda Studios on Twitter, which I guess now is X. Cringe, but uh, first, an enormous thank you to all of you playing Starfield and your support. We are absolutely blown away by the response and all you love about the game. We're also reading all of your great feedback on what you'd like to see improved or added to the game. This is a game we'll be supporting for years and years to come. So please keep all the feedback coming. Even though we don't get your request immediately, we'd love to in the future, like city maps. Our priority
Oh yeah,
initially is making sure any top blogger bugs or stability issues are addressed and adding quality of life features that many are asking for. Before I even continue, there's a few things to even pick from this. One, they are making a statement that they're going to support this game for years to come. So just know that that's a thing, right? Two, know the fact that they're well aware of the city map things and they're going to be definitely addressing that, which is
that'll be
great
nice.
because I want that. I
I
don't know
totally want
why
that too.
anyone wouldn't want that, but
Okay.
it's a little cool. Like because I don't have it, I'm starting to appreciate like learning the city a lot more and
Grand
being
Theft Auto
like,
3 was like that. Yeah,
yeah, it's kind of neat, right? But overall, like I still would just like the option, and they should put it in, right? But
for
I
sure.
I can understand a little bit on it not being a big priority because it is a little neat not having one. But anyway, um, let's move on though. But this first update is a small hot fix targeted at the few top issues we are seeing. After that, expect a regular interval of updates that have top community requested features, including brightness and contrast controls, HDR calibration menu, and FOV slider. FOV slider is a big deal. NVIDIA DLSS support. When I did Starfield episode, I want to say last week, I made a mistake. I said it had DLSS support. It didn't. It was just a mod that I saw, and so I just assumed. Anyway, it has ultra wide support for 32:9 monitor, and then an eat button for the food, which that is cool. I've been wanting that. That way you don't have to pick up the item, go into inventory, eat it. You could just eat it right there on the fly. That's a neat touch. I like that. Um,
Especially when they only give you 3 health. Yeah,
Yes, right?
yeah,
That's so little
yeah.
of health. It's like even
Slow it
10 is
down. Yeah,
nothing, but like,
yeah.
come on. Anyway, we're also working closely with NVIDIA, AMD, and our Intel on driver support, and each update will include stability and performance improvements. Again, I've seen some people say this game isn't like great on I guess the way it runs and all that, but I think it's totally fine. I mean, I don't know. It's let's say it's not great, but it's good. I don't really have any too big of problems with the way it performs or the parts it may need if you are trying to have like a big PC rig. It's pretty lenient on you not having to have that high spec. So I'm not there with that. Anyway, additionally, we are working on this is the most important thing to me in this whole bit. Additionally, we are working on our built-in mod support. called Creations that will work across all platforms, similar to what we've done with Skyrim and Fallout 4. This full support is planned to launch early next year. Until then, we know our PC community is already very active in the modding space, and if you have any feedback on how we can make this better, please let us know. Modding and creating in our games will always be a vital and important part of who we are, and we love seeing the community get off to a strong start. Keep the feedback coming. We really do read it all, and thank you again for taking a part of this journey with us, Bethesda Game Studios. Now, the modding stuff, it coming to console, that is gigantic because with Skyrim and Fallout 4, I did mess around with them, but they had a lot of limitations. So I would assume those limitations aren't going to be nearly as strict as what they were back on like the Fallout 4 mods if you ever messed with them. But there was still plenty, even with those restrictions, it was still totally worth having. There was a lot of really cool stuff you could apply just on your console of just making the game perform better, having a lot more options of just all these creations. I mean, if you played Bethesda games, you're well aware of the mods, even if you've only ever played on console. Like it's just too big of a thing in the gaming atmosphere when it comes to Bethesda and mods. It's very
That's
important,
the
and they're still
first thing
yeah
my brother thinks about with any of their games. He's just excited about that 90% more than
yeah
anything else,
yeah
and he plays on PC. But for me, I've always been super fine with vanilla because it was enough for me that I didn't care as much.
Well,
But
it's
I am
thinking about
excited about it
stuff
for
like
this game.
city maps. Let's say they didn't do want to do city maps. Well, somebody can make to support city maps and put in the game. Now you
Yeah,
have them that somebody else created. You will find
yeah.
things that you genuinely like of like a quality of life improvement somebody made. And it's not even just a one person. It's usually like maybe 100
Well, and
people worked on it over a few months. It ends up being a really cool addition to the game that you
they
genuinely
do
would
make
love
good stuff.
to get.
And
So
I'm sure with the console, and they're even getting better with the PC, with the quality control, because that's what I
yeah,
care about. I don't need it to be perfect. Like I said, there's glitches in the vanilla that I don't. But I know in PC and like older school games, you would have mods, and you had to really test the crap out of them. Because if you use one
yeah,
or
yeah,
two, they
yeah.
might not be too bad. You had to look at reviews. But if you use 12 of them together, you gotta be careful.
Exactly. Things nowadays aren't nearly as bad with all of that.
That's awesome. That's
So,
awesome. That's
like,
exciting.
you should fool around with it so you can get an idea of how it's going to be. Uh, do you install Fallout 4 on your Xbox? I mean, you got a Series X. Give it a shot. Right when you open up the game, go into the mod section on console and just
I
look at
think
all
I
the stuff
will.
they have. You'll be
Yeah,
really surprised and you'll be like, hey, like, I
that's
think you
cool.
would be in full support of Starfield mods if you just were to check that out. So, just a suggestion there because I think
There's
you would enjoy it.
I'm gonna do that. I
Yeah,
totally am. Yeah. The I could talk about the procedural stuff and all these different things, like if we ever get to do another episode. But there's two
yeah,
things I really, and then I'll just shut up and you can do whatever you want with finish it. Two things I really want people to know about though. Like one, hopefully you know about this stuff already, but one is the selling, the research from surveying, because surveying is a pretty in-depth thing where you have to go. You're trying to find out what minerals are there in case you do care about getting them or mining them or whatever. But a lot of it is like you go and you have to look at all the animals, you have to look at all the plants, but not only that, a lot of times there'll be 1 to 3 or whatever special things, kind of like the Grand Canyon on Earth or whatever, and you have
yeah,
to find those also. And then it finishes it. It's fully surveyed. When it is, you can sell it, okay, to anybody. But also, there's this guy at the lodge or in the eye, that satellite called Vlad, okay, and he'll give you way more money for that stuff. So to do that, it's in your notes like a book.
yeah,
You can't just go up to him and he'll know. Like a lot of games are like that. You just go, well, I did the stuff. Why aren't you giving me the stuff for it? You have to go in your notes and it'll be called those planets' names or whatever. So another thing though, since that's so time consuming, you have to be really in the mood to really explore, just completely explore like a NASA person. Um, if you go to gas giants, they're automatically 100% because you can't land on them.
Oh, what?
So
Well, hold on. Back to the Vlad stuff with the journal things.
yeah,
The game is good about that, though. It actually does tell you you have to do that.
that's
So I
good.
don't want people thinking that that isn't the case. It does actually tell you you have to
That's
do that.
well, I remember them telling me about selling it to him, but I didn't remember the notes thing. But I could have missed that,
Okay,
so that's good.
it
Most
did
people will
tell
know that
me.
thing.
I remember that.
That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah, that's
Anyway,
an easy way to make money in the beginning of the game. Obviously, you only want to go to places that are like 10 levels above you or below. You don't want to go to the crazy high level areas. But if you go there and just do the gas giants, like you can make a lot of money to do stuff. It's pretty easy, on top of other ways to make money with loot or whatever, but like
Well, you can
because you just
find
instantly
little
survey.
things along, you go to whatever city and you'll find a little station there that'll have missions on it for whatever faction.
Mhm.
You can just
Those are
accept it
awesome
right from
too.
in there. Those are really good. So that's another way of
Those
accepting
are.
those. Yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of ways to make experience and money. Absolutely.
You could
Yeah.
just be
But
walking over here something, pay attention, talk to them, and accept something.
uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, when it comes to that stuff, and when it comes to the mission boards too, okay, besides just like the factions and the main mission and all these like super critique, these other things are critiqued to a point too. But they started doing this. It might have even been before Skyrim, but I heard about it in interviews with Skyrim. Okay, they'll those things like the mission boards or just overhearing something from somebody.
Yeah.
It has an algorithm that generates this stuff. Takes like a dozen different things that they want
Ooh,
and puts together to make
really?
it. Yeah,
I
and
didn't
it'll
know
be like
that.
it's handcrafted. It'll be like it's
Okay.
handcrafted,
Because
even
it
though it's
feels
not handcrafted.
handcrafted.
Oh, a lot of those, yeah, they're
Wow.
that good. But it also takes into account you haven't been to this planet yet. You haven't been to this city yet, and it'll like make it tailored to
Oh,
that to get you to
cool.
go there. It does all those things, so that's why this game is never ending. That's what Skyrim was too. You can beat this
How
all the
did you
stuff.
find this information? They just said it in developer vlogs that they had?
Yeah,
Where did
interviews
you
for
see
Skyrim.
this? You saw
Yeah,
this?
interviews for Skyrim with top
Oh,
modders and
oh,
everything.
oh,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
oh. So this isn't even new. Okay. This isn't
They
new
started
to
doing it in
Starfield.
Skyrim.
They've been doing it since Skyrim. I didn't know this. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. This is to
Neat.
make like stuff not so generic. I mean, yeah, you're gonna have some fetch
Yeah.
quests, but it's a lot of it is seems very handcrafted when it's not. So it's like never ending. For instance,
Well,
like
it technically is, and then it's just an algorithm applied
yes,
to handcraftedness. That's what's
correct,
going
and
on.
they
Yeah,
work
yeah,
really hard at it. Yeah,
yeah.
but so like if you do the ranger stuff for the Freestar, okay, for like in
Okay.
Cheyenne or whatever, if you do the main faction, that's all super handcrafted. But if you go to the mission board, like
Oh.
those are not, and like some of them will
It
seem a
was
little
really
generic. Just go kill this guy.
good. I mean, one of
But
the
some of
coolest
them,
missions was that. Wow.
that's what I'm saying. Some of
Cool.
them are like it's written. Yeah, it's not always just go
Dang.
kill this guy. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, then the last
I'm
one, and this
impressed.
isn't as long.
Anyway,
This isn't. This isn't as
you
long
kind
as
of blew my mind though. I did not realize this
I
because
guess this is why they're
yeah.
my favorite studio, man. Yeah, but so no, the other thing that hopefully you already know, but like if you're 200, 250 meters from your ship, you can go into in the menus to your ship where you can see your crew and your cargo and all that stuff. Go into the
Okay.
cargo, and you can take stuff out or put it in. It's not just the shops or whatever. You can do that, so you don't have to go into your cockpit and go to that little green screen to do it. So that saves a ton of time. You
Oh.
have to do that. Now you
Oh,
can
I
go
didn't
in.
know
You can
that.
look at your
Okay.
ship's cargo from anywhere,
Yeah.
but you
I knew
won't be able to
that.
take stuff out or put it in.
Okay.
But if you're
Okay.
like 200, 250 meters from it, you can. So yeah, that
Okay.
you want to run up,
Okay.
do that quick, and then go. That's life saving when you're
Cool.
doing when you're really full of loot. Yeah.
Well, I mean, any last thing you just want to touch on before we move on to the next segment here with Rudy?
I go on to a whole nother stream of whatever. So that was the big thing of those two that
Okay.
I wanted
Okay.
to.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I'm glad I got to fit that story thing in, how they get you to go other places you haven't been and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. 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 No, so I'm straight. I have nothing more to add. I mean, I just want to tell people, I guess, um, I'm completely blown away. I'm completely captivated by this game, more so than I may. I actually have never been this in terms of how long I've been playing every day. Usually, I'll jump to other stuff. I'll play stuff for a few months. I'll beat it, right? Move on, whatever, and I'll be playing a few games at a time. I haven't played anything but this. I tried two things out last night just so I could talk on something other than Starfield, but I went right back to playing Starfield. So
It can be
I
addictive.
have
Yeah.
yet to move on from Starfield since September 1st. It's what, the 18th of recording. So yeah, I've never went this far. Even with Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, I was obsessed over. That lasted about a week, and I've never done that before. Now I'm like, what, almost 2.5 weeks, and I'm still just playing through because
Wow.
I keep seeing so many new things constantly, and they're really impressing me. It doesn't feel generic. It doesn't feel like I'm talking to this person, go kill 3 boars and bring me back the skins.
Yeah.
That's just what most RPGs give you, and it's just
Yeah.
like, come on.
Yeah.
But this is so interesting, and
It
every
is.
side mission, main mission, every aspect is really
Yeah.
interesting stories being
It's
told.
immersive.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. So I'm
Okay.
blown away.
Okay. So the one thing that we talked about before, and then I'll be done. is the New Game Plus thing we were talking about. You know, where
Oh
the
yeah,
game
yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what that guy said is true about like hasn't really started until it started. Okay, and so there's a lot of really cool stuff about that. And also when you see people go to like, well, they're like New Game Plus 10 or something like that. That is not like they did like everything you've done like in your first playthrough or whatever. You can rush to get to the next New Game
Well, when
Pluses
you
once you
start
get
New
it.
Game Plus, do you still have your items? How does that work?
Okay, so how that works is you're still you, so you have all your experience.
Okay.
So all you're leveling up all your stuff, but you have nothing else. So it really is
Okay.
like
Okay.
starting over.
Okay.
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 And then there's story stuff also that adds to it. But the only warning I want to have, because there's nothing wrong with doing it, and it is a really cool story and everything, okay?
Okay.
However, the reason why I don't think you should rush through it like they're telling some people to do, okay, is the only thing I know about so far, because there could be other things. There's a lot of really cool stuff, but your characters, the Constellation people,
Yeah.
I don't know if this will be your first New Game Plus or it's your seventh one, okay? But eventually they get screwed with. So you might not be able to do all their side quests and have a relationship with
Ooh.
them and all that cool
Okay.
stuff. So
Okay.
that's why you want to do all that stuff like your first playthrough,
Okay.
because it's
Okay.
the rest of the world will stay the same even though you got to start over. But that might get screwed with, and that's going to piss you off if you didn't do that stuff. So
Okay. Okay. Okay.
that's the best thing. I don't want to be any
But
more
but
specific
I
than that.
should I should definitely finish the consolation stuff. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, because it can
Okay.
get screwed with.
I mean, I was
Yeah,
going to anyway, but it's good to know
yeah.
that I shouldn't even later.
Because there's
Okay.
really good, they've done this other games too, like Mass Effect and stuff like that. But like you become enough friends with a character, and they want you to go do this thing to help them out with. And some of those are really cool, man. Like
Okay.
I did Sarah's, and that was really cool.
So I, speaking of it, I was going to just pick Sarah, and even when I first got the Russian accent girl, what's her name? Starts with an A. You were saying it
Hmm.
earlier. Anyway, I can't remember her name, but
Andrasia, I think, but yeah,
Andrea, I think that's it.
yeah, Drea, yeah, there you go,
Yeah,
there you
Andrea. Um, I didn't like her at first, but she's grown on me a lot, and now I bring her
go.
with me everywhere, and I'm really
Yeah,
invested into her. But I was gonna
yeah.
go with Sarah beforehand, but now,
Well,
now,
I'm married to
now I'm
Sarah
all
now, and I'm
about.
still gonna hang out
Uh,
with Andrasia, not to sleep with her, but because I want to do her side story and get to know her
yeah.
and everything. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And she is awesome.
Um,
Yeah.
it's nothing to take away from Sarah because like she is really a good character. She is. Just somehow Andrea just is better. I don't know.
Well, they all have these amazing backstories
Yes,
that
yes.
if you
I
get to know
know.
them more, it's really interesting. It's not just like
Yeah.
this fluff character, but
But
yeah,
again, I didn't go far enough. Now I'm going so far to Andrea. I don't. Maybe Sarah does have a lot of more cool things I don't know yet, right? I'm sure that's the case. So.
well, do you know the TV shows and the movies? Like I said, Firefly and Yellowstone. Okay, there's also like Starship Troopers, Aliens,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Total Recall. There's a
Exactly.
bunch of them where, and I'm not even saying like they're obviously
Interstellar,
inspired from
Moon.
Interstellar.
Um,
Yeah, and some of
there's a
that's the
lot.
feel, but some of it's specific things that you can do that are so like that.
Straight
There's so
up
many.
references. Like I
Yes.
not like not I don't know. Not like a theme of something, but a
No.
genuine pull from it. It feels like. Yeah,
Right.
that's
Well,
how
it's
I
not
want
like
to word it.
everything from Total Recall, and it's not like that
Yeah.
when you first play the game, you're like, "Wow, this is total." No, 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 no.
But you
But
will
like you go to
see
Mars,
gadgets that look similar to what they did in the respective
true.
fields. That's how I
Well, like
want to
there's this
word it.
one gun that's like almost, it's not exact, but it's really close to the gun from Blade Runner,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Neon's totally
yeah.
like Blade Runner. And then,
Exactly.
um, yeah, Total Recall though Mars is like it's not like trying to be Total Recall, but like it's a mining thing, and the way the
It
mining
totally
is
feels like a
gliding.
total
It's totally like
recall.
Total Recall. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's tons of stuff like that. Yeah.
Um, and Total Recall actually is like one. If I'm gonna choose like an '80s movie that I just really really like, I do always go there. I love Total Recall. Anyway, all right. But yeah, that'll
All
do
right.
it. And
Yeah.
then let's
This has
let's
been
let's
long.
get into news. All right, Nate's now gone. We
Hi,
talked a
Nate.
lot on Starfield. Rudy's back.
Hey, guys.
Did you have anything you wanted to say on Starfield before we leave the topic?
Well, last time we talked, I got a good amount of info from you that really actually made me really want to play the game. And
Okay.
I kind of left it at that because there are so many damn games right now that I'm like, okay, last thing I need is another, the 100+ hour game to play right now. So I think I'm going to listen back to the conversation you guys had and really, it'll probably get me excited, I'm sure. So I can
Okay.
only imagine the way you guys feel about it. So
Yeah, we're gonna talk on Cyberpunk. It's not in the notes here, but when does the DLC come out?
I believe it's the 20. Is it 22nd? Hold on, let me double check.
Yeah, I was saving it. That's what it was. I was saving it for our new game watch, talking on it then, because as well as Resident Evil 4 Separate Ways, we could talk on both of that whenever we get to new game watch. But I did want to mention
Oh, it's
the only reason
26.
I'm bringing up Cyberpunk because the DLC coming is reviews, right? People have played it now. It comes out the 26th, and it's clearly in a really, really good shape.
I see that.
And I really want to play it, but before this DLC drops, at least in the state that it was prior, even after many updates, I feel Starfield is still a much better, impressive open world game than Cyberpunk. But that is before playing this DLC. You see what I mean?
Gotcha.
Maybe things could change.
Well, it seems like the DLC also like completely overhauled the game itself, right?
Yeah.
So if you're new to Cyberpunk, this is going to be a great experience, I guess.
In my current state, I'm I'm far more impressed with Starfield than I was even with Starfield after many patches kind of deal. But who knows? This big new update could change the game dramatically. So we'll see.
Yep.
Anyway, all right. Well, we had a Nintendo Direct. We had a PlayStation State of Play. So there's a lot to talk about. Nintendo's was a lot meatier at, I think, 31 games. And PlayStation's was like 12 or 13, I want to say, which isn't bad. That's like normal amount. It's just Nintendo unloaded a bunch. Did you watch the whole Nintendo Direct?
I did watch it. Yep.
Okay. I mean, overall thoughts before we get into what was actually announced.
So in terms of like volume, I thought it was great, right? It had a lot of stuff. Overall, I thought it was pretty good. It's just there was a bunch of stuff that I personally, was not that interested in, but I think it's great that they have so much. There are a few things that really stood out to me though. So we'll definitely get to that in a minute.
So what are you giving it letter grade?
Probably give it like a B.
Okay.
That was pretty decent. There was one or two things that I completely did not expect that I came away from it like, oh man, I want to play that. And that doesn't happen that much. So I was really happy about that.
Okay. I'm giving this... It's hard because there's a few really major things for me here that are gigantic, but it was so full of content. And so much of it was stuff that I didn't care much about, right? So I guess a B. I'm with you on a B. If I'm giving this a B and we jump over and think on Sony's side, I'm giving that a C. Gotcha. There wasn't really anything. All the stuff Sony showed was stuff we already knew, outside of a few things, but it wasn't anything big or major. We didn't get a big game drop that, whoa, I didn't know this was happening. Right, that didn't happen. With on Nintendo, we actually got a few of those, at least for me. So,
sure.
So if I'm giving Nintendo B, I'm throwing C minus at PlayStation there.
Yep, that's fair.
Anyway, all right, but let's get into the Nintendo Direct here.
All right.
This is in order of as it showcased to us as we're going through the Direct.
Right.
I guess I'll list two, you list two, since there's a lot here.
Sounds good.
Splatoon 3 Expansion Pass Wave 2 side order. Nintendo kicked off the showcase with the upcoming Splatoon 3 Wave 2 content. It featured a stark roguelike mode where the protagonist heads up the floors of a tower and an elevator, fights against random enemy spawns, and chooses from a selection of power-ups in between each floor. It's designed to be a long-lasting, repeatable experience. Arriving spring 2024. To me, this sounds incredible. I'm a big Splatoon fanatic, and I know we were just talking about me not liking roguelikes, but I love Splatoon, and Roguelite is the light version of Rogue game to where you still make progress even after you die, which this is clearly going to do. The other flip of that, where it's rogue-like, to where it's straight up it's like the game Rogue, to where you die, you get nothing after the fact, and you start all over fresh, right? I don't like those. But if I have something that I'm getting, even if it's a little, that alone is enough for me to want to keep going. I'm not even trying to get stuff that would help my character perform better the next time around. I don't even really like that. I just liked getting something, period.
Right.
That's all I mean. To be honest, I kind of wish it wouldn't be upgrades to the character the next time I go around. I just want it to be more like maybe unlockables and other things, or maybe new skins, new something. I just want to be making some sort of progress as I keep pouring hours into it, even if it's not helping me in that current run, right? So anyway, that's just how I am with these roguelite things. So I just went on a tangent there. But in general, a Splatoon version of that, really, really, really cool. I'm very excited about that. Definitely be playing it. So
awesome. I'm excited that they're really have been supporting this game so well for so many, bunch of years. I mean, excuse me, this is the new one, but I mean the franchise in general. They're so good about doing that. So
yeah, they've been really strong. Even though Nintendo's network as a whole is pretty bad, but Splatoon is definitely the outlier, and
that's for sure.
Yeah. So, well, I guess Mario Kart, right? But
that's true.
Those two are slamming it. So Mario vs. Donkey Kong. So this was my big, oh my god, I'm so hyped, which sounds really dumb, but I'm telling you, that Donkey Kong 94 game that came out on original Game Boy, one of my all-time favorites. I've mentioned it a lot of times, probably on this show, but I really like that game. This was the sequel to that, and it's called Mario vs. Donkey Kong, and it was on Game Boy Advance. Well, this is basically sort of reimagining of that, right? They're just taking that and they're just adding a lot more content, it's not like they took that game and remade it. It's, I guess, a spiritual successor.
Sure.
Kind of level. Yeah.
I got kind of vibes of a little bit of both, So that's cool though. I was excited too. I was like, man, I haven't played this in forever.
Yeah, I didn't know you ever even played them.
Yeah, I did back in the day when I got a Game Boy Advance. It was I remember just playing the heck out of it.
Because it looks dumb. Me looking at this game from the outside, if I wouldn't have played these games before, the least bit excitement, right? It looks very boring, very slow, puzzle game, whatever. And I'm just like, nah, I'm good, right? But I promise you, give it a shot. Because I just randomly gave it a shot as well. I just remember being pretty young and just buying a random Game Boy game and getting really lucky. It's pretty much what happened. I was not expecting to find that gem. So
yeah,
for real, forget what you think about the game and give it a try. So whether that's going and emulating the Game Boy Advance game and seeing what you think about it, so you can be excited on this or not. However you can find your way of playing those, do so, because I feel you're gonna instantly be swung on how good this game is. So anyway,
I agree.
Mario vs. Donkey Kong, the puzzle platformer series that pits Mario against Donkey Kong in a series of brain-twisting 2D elemental puzzles, is making a comeback on Nintendo Switch. Mario vs. Donkey Kong sports a brand new 3D art style and retains the toy aesthetics of the series. You can play in a single player and co-op mode. First of all, co-op mode. Nice. I didn't realize that. Okay, cool. Mario vs. Donkey Kong is releasing on the 16th of February, 2024. Also, I want to say before anything else is they're clearly just unloading whatever they're going to release on the Switch platform, and they're saving all of the actual, what's the next Zelda, what's the next Metroid, all that, to when we see that console release, right?
One day we'll see Metroid, one day.
It feels that way when you see these announcements. They're all smaller stuff or remakes. There's nothing that took a team, 5 years to make.
5 years,
I mean?
yeah.
It's nothing like that up in here. And, right. So I'm assuming all of that's being poured into the new console, right?
I would assume so. Yep.
And one random thought I just had too. What do you think's going to happen with Mario Kart? Why wouldn't they have it on the next system? But what
just port it over, right? I don't know.
They're not just going to port it over. That's the second time that they would port.
I don't know, man. I'm just thinking the game is so huge and popular and so Super Smash Bros. That if they don't have the new game ready when the new system launches, they're like, man, we're missing out. We need to move this.
The new games are going to have to either be huge departures in a very new and fresh way, or just more ultimate version.
More, right? Yeah.
Anyway, so
Should be interesting.
anyway, yeah, but
All
you
right.
can hit these next two.
All right. So then we got Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. A new trailer for Ubisoft's upcoming Prince of Persia reboot was then shown. It's a 2D combat platform that looks very flashy and features demanding fights. I've been hearing about this for a long time. It's not really on my mind. It's like, whatever. When it comes out, I guess. We'll see how it turns out. I really have no idea what to expect. And then we got Horizon Chase 2, which is a cartoonish arcade racing game with single player and 4-player multiplayer. It's available right now. All right, that's cool. I've seen people talk about those games a lot. I've never actually tried them myself, though.
So have you ever played a Prince of Persia game?
I have. Yep, I played Sands of Time, and then I think I played the next one, and then I kind of fell off after that.
It's not Two Towers, but it's something. I don't
forgot
know
what it's called.
It's like twins. I don't know. Whatever. I'm whatever. I've never been like, I'm big into Prince of Persia. I don't really care too much.
Me neither. Yep.
But this looks very different. This looks like a Metroidvania.
Yes.
So yeah,
different vibe for sure. I might check it out. Just got to see when it drops.
And then Horizon Chase 2, I did play the first one, and I do like it. I'm big into like racing games or whatever, and this is a fun arcade racer. They're cheap. I want to say $20 maximum. It's available now, by the way, too. And
something good to have on your Switch.
I do think they're actually good quality games, though. Just needed to mention that.
Yep.
This ain't some cheap little whatever thing. So
right.
Yeah. Okay. Super Crazy Rhythm Castle. New multiplayer rhythm game from Konami, and features several tracks from Konami games like Beatmania, Castlevania, and Gradius. Is releasing the 14th of November. So it looked pretty neat. I wasn't like dying to play it or anything. I don't know. I need to actually just get my hands on it before I would feel like I care or not. What I saw was like, okay, that looks okay, I guess. I don't know. I wasn't really impressed that much. But yeah. Just the premise sounds really cool though. Like a rhythm game of Konami tracks. That sounds really neat.
I did see this one. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. Nothing I'm going crazy over, but yeah.
Yeah. And then this Spy X Anya, Operation Memories. Popular anime series Spy X Family is getting a game revolving around the 5-year-old character Anya. It looks very charming. Spy Cross Anya is arriving sometime in 2024. All
right. I mean, don't have much to say about that one.
Yeah. Pass.
All right. But Super Mario RPG, the remake, an in-depth trailer for the upcoming remake of Super Mario RPG was shown, detailing its innovative, active turn-based battle system, as well as some of its involved boss fights. Super Mario RPG will release on it's the 17th of November, 2023. I'm very excited for this because for somehow I've played every single mainline Mario game and I've never played this game. I don't know why that is, but now I'm just waiting. I'm very excited. It looks great. I just can't wait. I'm super pumped for this. So.
The Paper Mario games that came after it are basically the spiritual successors to this, but I don't think they're as good. Like, this is the one, because it's Square Enix, where the other ones were just strictly Nintendo.
Everyone talked so highly of this game, so I'm very excited for this to be my my first experience with it. The only other game I could think of where the first time I ever played it was the remake, was Shadow of the Colossus. So that game and this game are the two that I'm playing it for the first time. Well,
see, Shadow of the Colossus, despite what some people may say, it's a fine game. It has cool moments or anything, but this isn't like top tier Square Enix like level stuff here. I mean, they were just coming off the cusp of like Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy VI and all this mess. Like,
sure.
You can't really compare that to Shadow of the Colossus, at least in my opinion. But
yeah, of course. No, I thought. Personally, I know a lot of people don't agree with this, but I like The Last Guardian way more than Shadow of the Colossus. And I know a lot of people didn't like that game, but I really love it.
I honestly never played it. It turned me off just looking at it, but maybe I should play it?
I loved it so much, man. That was great. All right, and then next game is Another Code Recollection. The Nintendo DS adventure game Another Code 2 Memories is making a return on Nintendo Switch. Another Code is a puzzle and mystery revolving around protagonist Ashley and a mysterious island. The collection will also include its sequel, which was never released in the West. Another Code Recollection will be released on January 19th, 2023. Never played this. Look kind of interesting. Something I might check out, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not going to play it, but I'm not hating on it. I like to see, here's some cult classic DS game.
Right. Someone's excited about it out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, Princess Peach Showtime. We got a title finally.
Finally.
Nintendo gave an in-depth look at the upcoming Princess Peach game, and it first announced in the previous Nintendo Direct. Formerly untitled, it's now Showtime and involves Peach traversing theater worlds and using a new Star Ribbon companion named Stella to assist her. The big gameplay hook here is that Peach will be able to transform while using different outfits and gain access to new abilities like a squash-buckling outfit that lets her fight enemies with a sword, Detective Peach, Kung Fu Peach, Pastry Peach are some of the others, and each will be accompanied by their own unique stages. It looks pretty delightful.
Yeah.
Showtime would be released on the 22nd of March, 2023. It's cute. It's not for me, but I can't deny its cuteness.
Yeah, it's like a game that I'd probably play out of just obligation to like, oh, I gotta play all the Mario games, right? But we'll see. We'll see if it actually looks. I want
It
to see
looks
more.
really shallow to me,
Right,
but
so
I don't
far,
know. I don't know.
Yep. All right.
Saga Emerald Beyond. The underrated, first of all, I disagree. It is definitely not underrated. I never really liked the Saga RPG series. By the way, I took all of this because somebody made a really nice back-to-back-to-back summary of it all over at Games Radar, I think, where I pulled this from. So shout out to them. Anyway, they put underrated Saga RPG, and I was just like, no. Series come from Square Enix and is making a return with a new entry. It features a new story and characters, branching paths, and a timeline-based, turn-based combat system. Saga Emerald Beyond is arriving sometime in 2024. Now, I will say, this compared to the previous in the series looks a lot better than those did. I just always thought they were really like not just generic but weak on top of it. Like generic is like, okay, what's the most generic JRPG you can think of where it hits all the traditions? It'd be like Dragon Quest, right? But
Sure.
they do such a phenomenal job.
They do it so well, yeah.
You know, and this is like, there's nothing that changes the game here, and it was pretty bad for me. You know, you move between different characters, but like that wasn't even much of a gimmick because when you look at like Live Alive or any other JRPGs where you're moving between a lot of characters, there's an overall point to it, and this just never happened. Anyway, there's that. But I think this actually looks pretty decent. So now I have like my eye on it at least, and you know, I just want more information. But
Fair
I'm
enough.
a JRPG fanatic, and maybe this will end up being good. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, I hope so. All right.
All right.
Then we got Tomb Raider 1 through 3 remastered. The original Eidos Tomb Raider trilogy from the 1990s is getting a remastered collection featuring both remastered and original graphics. All the expansions for the game are included. Tomb Raider 1 through 3 remastered will be released on February 14th, 2024. I mean, this is cool for people who want it. You know, obviously I've played these games a million times, so I don't really have any interest in returning. I still have to play Shadow of the Tomb Raider, to be honest. So yeah, but that's cool, you know, if anyone wants to revisit it. All right, and then we got Detective Pikachu returns. A closer look at the upcoming Detective Pikachu sequel was shown, with the trailer breezing through the title's gameplay loop of investigation, exploration, befriending Pokemon, and using their abilities to solve the overarching mystery. Detective Pikachu Returns will be released on October 6, 2023. I never played the first one. I saw the movie. It was kind of cool.
It's not good. Well, I mean, I don't want to say it's not good. Let's just say
it wasn't like I was
for
it
babies.
wasn't like I loved it. It was just like, it's fine, whatever. I watched it with my kid, you know.
Oh no, the movie's great. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
I meant the game.
Oh, you meant the game. I see.
The game is incredibly basic, meant for actual babies to play.
Right.
So
Gotcha.
Don't expect much from this game.
Yeah, I'm not.
But Tomb Raider 1 through 3, it's pretty cool, only for one thing. It's a remastered of a PS1 game, and they like redid the character models and sort of like, I don't know, they did something to where like it looks as if how your memories looked on the game.
Okay.
But still looks very like PS1. But then if you actually went back and played on PS1, you would throw up immediately, and
It
you
would be
can't
way
even
worse,
like
yeah.
make out the eyes or arms or anything.
I gotcha.
But whenever you look at this, like you're like, oh, it looks like a PS1 game, just sort of cleaned up a little or whatever.
Right.
But they rode such a super good fine line, in my opinion, where like I've never quite seen a PS1 game in the style of a PS1 look this good. So I was a little impressed on that manner of it. Now, the actual games themselves, I mean, when I was a kid playing Tomb Raider 1 or 2 on PS1, for some reason they always terrified me. I don't know, like something to do with just the setting of going in a cave and the music, and then like the wolves pop out and you're just like, I don't know. I was so terrified when I was a kid trying to play these games, and they always just super freaked me out, like there were horror games or something, which is funny to
Gotcha.
look back on now. But I mean, there was a solid 3 or 4 or 5 years to where it was just always the thing, like we were playing and trying to get through it from, when I was real little into my early teens.
Sure.
Because the weird thing is there's 4 of them on PS1, and I'm like, why do 1 through 3 stop there? It actually, the story ends with 4, so I don't know if most people know that, but I was a little like, whoa, what's going on here? That's super weird.
Right.
Unless they don't consider the 4 to be important enough to the story, but it's definitely, that's where it ends, and I want to say that's even called Revelation. Let's see.
It's been so long.
Tomb Raider for PS1. The Last Revelation. Yeah, actually got that right. Anyway,
Good
but that was the last one on PS1, and that was the end of that whole little arc there. So I'm very confused why we're not getting that. Well, I do 1, 2, and 3 and stop there. But I guess 3s look nice or whatever, and I doubt many people even know or care. But I do. I noticed it.
Yeah, that's it. Tim noticed it. You guys are done. All right. Oh, sorry. You're up next.
No, you're good. Trombone Champ. This game was gigantic whenever it released on PC, and it was a very big like meme game or whatever, and it was getting a lot of chat. A lot of people really like it. But it's releasing on Switch here. The excellent and hilarious rhythm game Trombone Champ is coming to Nintendo Switch with all of its inaccurate and awful sounding, in the best way possible, trombone tunes. In a genius design decision, it will support both motion controls with the Joy-Con controllers, as well as basically able to, you know how it has the sensor on the Joy-Con, and you can put your finger over it, and it's able to like sense through that or whatever.
Yeah.
So they have some sort of way of using the IR sensor to know like the temperature of the hand or something like that. I don't know. Very interesting little bit there. But this game sounds perfect of just some hilarious, like funny party game thing, and you're playing music or whatever, but you're using the Joy-Cons. Some like Wario vibes,
But yep.
And makes me want to play it. Anyway,
it does look pretty funny.
It's 4-player multiplayer now, and comes out. Well, wow, it's out now. I need to get on this.
Trombone Champ, so funny.
I never played it. I saw some videos. It looked kind of funny and goofy, so I might buy it on Switch.
Yeah, I've never played it either, but it looks funny.
Okay, and then Battle Crush. A brief look at NCSoft's Battle Royale. First of all, I read this and I'm just like, next year it's going to be like shut down, first of all. But a brief look at NCSoft Battle Royale brawler Battle Crush was shown. It launches in spring 2024 with the beta happening October 23rd. So many of these multiplayer online live service games come out and they get shut down in like a year or even less. And I was just thinking, one is just getting shut down. That was it was pretty good actually. It was that EA's attempt at like a Monster Hunter game.
That one's already getting shut down.
It's already getting shut down. There's just not many players on it.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I just can't remember the name of it.
Wild Hearts. That's what it is.
That's what it was.
Yeah, let me make sure. I swear I saw that. Wild Hearts. EA is reportedly ending support for Wild Hearts just 7 months after the game's launch. The report comes via a post in both the game's official Discord and on its subreddit from a moderator. What you think has happened to the game has unfortunately happened, the moderator said. So
It's crazy, man.
I guess there's just no player base, right? And it's like, how can you keep supporting something that nobody's playing? You're just not going to make any money, and now you're just at a loss while you keep making content. So I get why you have to shut it down, but it's just like, that's what, there's too much competition, and people aren't understanding that. Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't make one, but you should really, 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 really consider other options.
Yeah, just be a little more purposeful, you know? Don't just throw it out there.
I don't even think they're just throwing it out there, though, you know? Like, it's just more of like, no matter how good it is, there's too many options.
Yeah.
And if I was, you know, in the realm there, I'm just not making that type of game because I'm going to pour so much money into something that's such a high gamble. I just don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, anyway.
All right, next up, we got War Tales, one of the games that made a huge mark on the PC gaming scene earlier this year. The open-world RPG War Tales is coming to Switch. It's a tactical role-playing game set in a land that is trying to recover from a plague. Doesn't sound like anywhere I know. War Tales is available now. I thought this looked kind of cool. You know, a game I'd probably play if I wasn't swamped with so many already. So I had never heard of it earlier. So
yeah. It looked good though.
Oh yeah, it did. It looked good.
But I'm not gonna play it. But it looked good.
Same here.
Yeah.
And then we got Contra Operation Galaga. WayForward and Konami are releasing a remastered and reimagined version of the classic 2D side-scrolling shooter Contra. Contra Operation Galaga is arriving sometime in early 2024. I mean, listen, I'm always down for more Contra, so bring it on.
This looked good. I like it.
Yeah. By the way, this next one
is the GOAT as well.
Yeah, WayForward's awesome.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, this next one had me really excited.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I actually saw a lot of people being like, pass, and I'm like, dude, this is
no way.
Far
this looks
from
great.
a pass. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Unicorn Overlord, a gorgeous new Vanillaware game. They've done Odin Sphere, Dragon Crown, 13 Sentinels. They also did Musashi Blade, I want to say was called. That game is phenomenal as well. That was on Wii and PS2. It's a fantasy.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. I just had so many memories of that game. That game was awesome. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, really cool. It was like Ninja Game, and you swap between two different characters.
Was it like Muramasa or something? Am I saying it right? Was it something like that?
Muramasa Blade, I want to say.
Something like that. Yes, that was a good game.
Mm-hmm. That was like one of those like top tier Wii titles.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, they released a new game, Unicorn Overlord. And it's a fantasy wartime strategy RPG. So more like, this is basically Vanillaware's take on triangle strategy.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
With the HD 2D graphics too, like that.
Yeah. It features their trademark art style. The trailer has shots of incredible looking food, of course, and the game itself looks very ambitious with complex looking game systems. Given how dense and mind-bending the narrative of 13 Sentinels was, which it is, everyone should play that game.
Still gotta play that one.
Here's hoping that Unicorn Overlord is the same. It releases on the 8th of March, 2024.
Looks amazing,
Really cool. Now, is this game coming to other platforms?
That I don't know.
Like, it seems like it would also come to PlayStation or something, but let's see. Okay, nice. Switch, Xbox, and PlayStation. So.
Okay.
No PC.
No PC. Interesting.
Yeah, no PC. Okay.
All right.
But Atlas seems to be all buddy with Xbox, which I think it's because of Sega. Like, once Sega bought Atlas, Sega's always been close with Xbox. So I think that's why, like, Atlas is such a big part of why Xbox gets any Japanese love. So,
right.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go back here. And then Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. Now, this is Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, but they're cutting that out of the title. They're actually titling it Luigi's Mansion 2 HD.
Oh, man, I didn't even catch that. You're right.
Yeah. though. It's a little weird. Anyway, but yeah, there was a new look showing the remastered version of it. It was released on 3DS, and like I said, Dark Moon. It will have 4-player online co-op play this time around. Interesting. Is it the whole game? Is it a side? Because 3 had that, but it was its own mode.
Right.
Like, is it the whole game or is it its own thing? But
Yeah,
at the
that's
same
interesting. I
time,
don't know.
like, how do you just add 3 other players inside the main game?
Yeah, it's gonna like break the game.
So maybe it is its own separate thing.
I
Either
don't
way,
think so.
it comes out summer 2024.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed this game when I played it, but probably not something I need to read.
It's the only like mainline Nintendo game I haven't played. Like one of the
so this
very
is perfect
few.
for
I
you
never
then.
played it, so yeah.
It's definitely a good game. Very, very enjoyable. It's a good little adventure. So
Yep.
All
I've
right.
been waiting forward to that because again, like I always think back on it, but when I go back to try to like want to play my 3DS, I just don't. I'd rather play on Switch.
Uh-huh.
So anyway,
I gotcha. All right, Nintendo Museum. Nintendo took some time to talk about its upcoming physical museum in Japan. Construction is planned to be completed by March 2024, with an opening date to be announced later. Hopefully, it will provide a rare look into the internal workings of the company throughout history. Excuse me. That's cool. Little side thing. I think it's cool that they're updating on us on stuff that's not even video game things. That's cool.
yeah, but I would want any company. Like I want a PlayStation museum. I want an Xbox museum.
I agree. So much history.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of like the Nintendo store in New York City. Like whenever I go down there,
Yeah.
it's like a similar vibe. Amiibo updates. Figures of Zelda and Ganondorf from The Legends of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom will arrive on November 3rd, 2023. New Xenoblade Chronicles 3 figures will be released on January 19th, 2024. And finally, Sora from Smash Bros. Ultimate will arrive sometime in 2024. He will be the last Smash Bros. Amiibo to be released. Sora was the final post-launch character for the game. Wow, end of an era.
First of all, that's so cool because when I was a kid and you're playing Smash Bros on 64 and then later with Melee and you're getting those like character trophies.
Yes, I remember those.
And just the fact that like now we're at the point to where we have all of these characters in Smash Bros Ultimate, right? But we actually get the figures exactly how they were, just even from the N64 version where it's got the little figure on the little platform and it just looks exactly like that. And it's like what we saw just in video game form as a little kid of attaining trophies. Now we can finally attain them in person and get them all. And so yeah, I'm definitely an amiibo guy and I have a lot. I only get the ones that I want though. I don't want I'm not trying to get a collection or anything. I just want the characters that I really like. But which all of these I do, so I'm gonna have to obtain them all. I'm definitely gonna have to get Sora. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was like gigantic for me. That was such a cool experience when I just went and played through all of the games. And I already want to go back, and I'm just trying to hold myself back because it's like, dude, come on. Those are like over 100 hours. Like
another 100 hours. Yeah,
I'm not doing it, but man, good times.
Yep.
Anyway. F-Zero 99. The original F-Zero game, Nintendo's futuristic anti-gravity racer, is getting Battle Royale treatment. Much like Tetris 99, Super Mario Bros. 99, and Pac-Man 99. You'll race against 19 other vehicles, because why not? F-Zero 99 is now available on Nintendo Switch Online subscribers. Now, I played this begrudgingly. I'm gonna admit something here that I just feel a little bad because I love F-Zero GX. I even like the F-Zero X game on a 64, but I despise the Super Nintendo. I think it's so trash, boring.
Yeah, I'm not
the most generic, basic thing. I was just like, I don't get it. I don't understand. I'm sure at the time, if I was like an adult when the game came out, of like how groundbreaking it was, I guess graphically with the Mode 7 and all that, being like, whoa, 3D, dude. Right?
Yep.
But for me, like, I just always thought it, like, was a game that even 2 years later doesn't even look good anymore.
Yeah.
And it was so basic and was just a tech showcase and nothing more. So I thought all this about this game my entire life. I play this just so I'm like, well, I might as well try this out. Right. And so I can talk on the show. Sure. And I've been doing and playing nothing but Starfield, and I'm like, I got to start trying some other stuff out here. So I downloaded that and tried it. Dude, it is so good. It is so good. It is so good. It is
Okay.
so good. I
Okay.
love it. This
I'm
is
glad to hear
easily
that.
the coolest of these Tetris 99, Super Mario Bros. 99, whatever.
I'm gonna download
I'm
this.
kind
Check
of
it out.
whatever on the rest. I promise you, you will understand immediately the hook to this. This is far more complex than F Zero on Super Nintendo.
All
It's
right, I'm
not
excited.
just F Zero, Super Nintendo, now racing 99 players. No, there is a ton of new gameplay mechanics, and
Sweet.
there's it's really in depth, and you'll understand when you play this. And hey, anyone who pays for the online of Nintendo, you might as well download this thing because this is what you're
Might as
paying
well.
for, is stuff like this. I was blown away, dude. So I let me try to explain this here. So I started like 6, 7 o'clock at night, went all the way till like 1 in the morning. I'm hooked. I'm getting so close. I've never once won in any battle royale game ever. It's like people getting shinies in Pokemon. I've never caught a shiny in Pokemon. I played Pokemon my entire life and I've never caught a shiny. And it's like how I feel about this battle royale. I've never once won a battle royale in any game, and I'm just like, this is the closest I'm becoming to actually making this happen. I'm getting like, ooh, it's 99 people, right? I'm sitting here like in the top 50, being like, oh my god, that was amazing, right? And I'm super pumped, and I'm playing hours trying to get better and better and better. And the best I got was third place, and this was like 2 hours into playing, and I'm like standing up, jumping kind of level, like I'm 6 years old again. And I'm incredibly addicted to this game,
That's
and
awesome.
I want to play it all the time. And my kid was watching me play, and him just seeing all the excitement that's come out of it, he's hooked. I caught him yesterday just playing it for like over an hour straight in his room, and I was like, "What you
Awesome.
playing there?" And he's like, "He's hooked." So,
All right,
and I'm
I'm gonna have to
telling you,
download
this
this.
game is awesome.
All right.
Uh,
All right, very cool.
Okay, and then Brandletale, a League of Legends story. A new League of Legends spin-off game
Another
is
one. Huh?
coming, a cozy crafting RPG with pixel art graphics and pulled back isometric perspective. It launches in 2024. It looks
All right.
good. It's just not my type of thing.
Interesting.
Pass.
Okay.
Song of Nunu, a League of Legends story, another League of Legends spinoff was
Dang.
announced, and this is a third-person exploration game featuring a boy and his snow monster. It arrives on the 1st of November, 2023.
All right. And then WarioWare, a League of Legends story. I'm just kidding.
First of all, that'd
No,
be
yeah, yeah. We got WarioWare, Move It. You know, I think Tim and I both agree. I always get excited whenever there's a new WarioWare game. They're just so wacky and fun. New gameplay trailer for WarioWare Move It details some of the poses and micro games we'll be doing. Features over 200 plus micro games, require you to do a stack of silly poses. I mean, it sounds like Wario. November 3rd, 2023. So I'm excited for that. Then we got, how do you even say it? Euden? I don't know. Euden Chronicle.
Eden.
Euden Chronicle, 100 Heroes. Like Suikoden, Euden Chronicle revolves around an army during wartime. You'll be able to recruit over 100 unique characters to it, each with their own involved stories and motivations. Will release on April 23rd, 2024. I thought this one looked cool too, by the way.
Yeah,
Kind of
yeah,
caught
yeah,
my
yeah.
attention a little
This
bit.
is the one I was waiting for because they did a side game, but this is the actual game of
Gotcha.
like the full thing they were working on there of like the Suikoden developers. Next here, Eastward Optical. Octopia? Anyway, a new expansion pack for the beautiful Eastward was announced, set in a new region of Octopia. It looks delightful. It arrives during the holiday season in 2023. The game is great. I remember when it came out talking on it, and I want to play that expansion. Wargroove 2, the Advanced Wars inspired Wargroove releases sequel on Nintendo Switch. It's already available on PC, but it'll be on console exclusive on Switch.
Very
It'll come
cool.
with its own campaign and story editor. Wargroove 2 will release on Switch on the 5th of October 2023.
All right.
Dave the Diver, the 2023 indie game phenomenon. Dave the Diver is coming to Nintendo Switch and involves a scuba diving, running a sushi restaurant, and a whole lot more than what you expect. It's available now. This did make a big splash when it came out. Dave the Diver was like, you should look it up on Steam. It's getting got a lot of really, really good
Check it
reviews.
out.
So apparently it's good. Anyway.
Then next up, we got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass, the final wave, featuring new tracks like Daisy Circuit, as well as new characters like Pauline, Funky Kong, Peachette, and Diddy Kong. arrives in the holiday season. By the way, one quick note. I didn't realize that I had missed the last wave. I don't even know how that happened. So I've been playing it today. So it's like a little added bonus. So yeah, I'm excited to get the final wave here. But God, the game's been so supported, so crazy. Then we have Among Us: The Fungal, an animated trailer for the new Among Us update depicted a crash landing on a deserted island to introduce a new map called The Fungal. It'll be free for all players and will arrive in October 2023. I kind of got over the Among Us. Among Us. It was fun. It's whatever now, you know. I haven't played in forever, so
I never got into it to begin with.
it was fun, but whatever.
Yeah. Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. Finally, Nintendo closes out the showcase by announcing a remastered re-release of Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door, the excellent GameCube RPG that features the paper-thin version of Mario and his humor-filled cardboard world. It genuinely regarded as a classic among the 100 or so people who actually owned a GameCube. Hopefully, this re-release will let a far bigger audience appreciate its special humor and quirkiness. Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door will release sometime in 2024.
Very
Now,
cool.
yes,
game.
to people on the outside, even people just big into gaming, I'm not saying that they're not gamers, not interested in this, but this is that super nerdy, nitty gritty thing of just like one of the best announcements they could do. You know, it's
One of
like
the best
that
games
pocket of like if they did, oh, here's Mother 3 finally coming out.
Mm-hmm.
To that, it's just that cult classic game that the people who love it really, really, really like it. I never played it. I played Super Mario RPG. I played
good.
Paper Mario, but I never played Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door.
Oh man, you're in for an awesome
So
time.
yeah.
One of the
incredibly
best
excited for
RPGs
this.
I've ever played, probably. So now you'll play Paper Mario and I'll play Super Mario RPG and we'll be square. So.
Right?
All right.
All right, next up here we have the PlayStation State of Play.
All right.
Did you watch it beginning to end?
I actually did not get a chance to watch this one. I just kind of caught up on the news.
Okay. Did you see, I mean, scrolling through here, did you think you saw all of this?
Yeah, I did. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Then what'd you think overall? Like, what would your letter grade be?
I thought it was fine. Probably a C or so. Obviously, there was a few bangers in here, but overall, it was fine. Nothing that I felt like, oh my god, that was awesome. You know?
Okay. C minus myself. I don't know, somewhere in there. And then, so first thing they announced was Baby Steps. It got a new trailer showing its physics-based silliness and dry humor. Now, I don't know, like, I just didn't enjoy it whenever that was the start of it, and this is State of Play, and I'm like hyped for whatever announcements, and then I get this like goofy thing. I understand the appeal of that. Throw off the audience. We be really funny. Wow, that was so cool and different.
Right.
But for me, it didn't. It just felt kind of lame to me.
Yeah,
I mean, when you were watching that, did you watch that trailer?
Yeah, I did watch this trailer. It was like, it's the kind of game I could see like you try out. Maybe it's free. If it was free on like Game Pass or something, oh, this is funny. You know,
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, I don't.
And maybe it is cheap. Maybe it's only like $10-15 or something like that.
Right. It could be.
Yeah, that would change my perspective if it wasn't
kind of like Octodad or something. You know, kind of
yeah.
like that.
It was just weird to start off the show like that for me. I was just a little
right.
I don't know, thrown off, but not in a good way. I usually like weird stuff, so that's why I'm a little confused. Like, I don't know, maybe this will grow on me, but for some reason, I didn't like it.
Right. I agree. All right. Next up, Roblox is coming to PS4, not PS5, on October 10th. My daughter was just telling me about this, all the rage. But if I ever play with her, I'll just continue playing on PC. So that'll be
yeah. Ghostbusters: Rise of the Ghost Lord is dropping on PSVR 2 on October 26th. I don't know. I don't have a PSVR 2, and if I did, I still wouldn't really care about that. And then we also got a VR 2 announcement of Resident Evil 4 coming to that. That's super cool.
Yeah, that's a good one. Resident Evil 4, PSVR 2. That's awesome. I love that. I love that they're doing that more and more. And might as well throw in that. On that note, Separate Ways DLC for Resident Evil 4 is dropping next week. I played Resident Evil 4 so long ago, the original, that I don't remember this DLC. This is the Ada Wong one, right?
Yeah.
It's been so long, man. I can't even remember it. So that'll be cool.
Yeah, that wasn't on GameCube. The PS2 version came with that extra content.
That must be what happened then.
And then the Wii version also had that on it as well.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay, that actually makes more sense then.
But it was really, really neat. I mean, it was definitely substantial, really cool. You get to just play Ada Wong's story, and it just kind of plays alongside the Resident Evil 4 game, and
Mm-hmm.
basically from her perspective. I think it's just as good, or maybe even cooler parts in that little DLC bit. I really liked it a lot, so I'm looking forward to. So that's the thing. When this came out, I didn't jump on it. I have it now. I have yet to even start it. And I think I started it testing the graphics or whatever because I was testing my like that's right when I got my new parts and I was testing to see how it looked with it and it did look really cool and I was like, okay, I'll start this, but I have yet to actually play past 30 minutes. So I'm gonna play Resident Evil 4 remake and then also play this DLC and I
There you
should
go.
get started on that here pretty soon. But I don't know, like I think I'm. I don't know. I don't know if I'm close to beating the Starfield like main story, but
Hmm.
apparently that's when the game changes and really opens up or something. And so I'm thinking like, oh, I just want to play and at least beat it before I start playing other things because I'm so obsessed and I just want to. I just want to keep playing it. So it's really
Sure.
hard to want to play other things. But maybe once I beat it, then maybe Resident Evil 4 will be the next thing. But then you have the Cyberpunk. What do you think? Do you think I should jump on Cyberpunk or you think I should jump on Resident Evil 4?
Uh, I can tell you something, but then I can tell you what I've been doing, which is I would just jump on the next thing because I really want to play it.
So you're saying screw it and just Cyberpunk?
I say just go for it. Play whatever feels good in the moment, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
I mean, there's no wrong answer. I just, trying to figure
yeah,
out.
either
Whatever.
way, be good.
Moving on.
Mhm.
The Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. We got a story trailer, showed off some fresh gameplay as well. This, how do I put this? This looked really good, like visually, and I'm like, oh, looks like a lot of fun and all that, like almost like Horizon meets Far Cry kind of levels, even though they're actually pretty similar. I didn't even think about that before. Horizon is
Mhm.
pretty similar to Far Cry already.
That's true.
And this just feels like whatever distance there was between them, this game is the is the equivalent there. But yeah, I mean, it's just not my type of game. I'm not playing.
Yeah,
I
same here.
don't I don't like playing these games of like a bunch of stuff on my map of trying to fill in the question marks and all that. And I know this has been like a running thing for like a lot of people on the internet. And yes, I'm definitely bandwagon in that camp though. Like I'm repeating the same stuff a lot of people are repeating of I'm kind of over these types of games and I like a lot more wonder and exploration and not really knowing what I'm gonna see around the corner. Like
Sure.
like with Zelda or with Elden Ring, for example, stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
So
All right. Let's see. Next up, we got well, I'll just mention and do another one too. PS5 cover plates revealed. People really like them. I mean, not much to say about that. I probably won't end up getting it because it just sits under my desk. But I understand why people like that stuff, you know.
yeah, no, it's a cool option. I mean,
It's a
I'm not
cool
gonna
idea,
buy
yeah.
it, but I like it.
Yeah, I'm good, but
Yeah.
I'm glad it's out there. And Helldivers 2 shows off some co-op gameplay as it gets delayed to 2024. You see this gameplay?
Yes. I don't know. It was
What'd you
like
think?
corny dialogue between the actual people
that
recording, right? It reminds
that's
me
for
of
sure.
those the E3 showcases, back
Yep.
in the day, I guess. Honestly, it made the game a little less exciting for me because it was weird. It was a weird bit. I'm really hyped for this game, actually. I don't know why, but I am. I think it's because player damage actually plays a big role in this game, which I think is a neat premise to like lean into the fact that you can kill each other and you have to really be careful on bombs you're placing and whatever. And there's a lot of big explosions and stuff. So
Sure.
I think it looks really cool. But this little bit to where they're all playing co-op, it's super, super easy mode or something. They like to, oh, okay, a person or two dies, but it's only for like a 20, 30 minute segment. They're about to kill him. It's this big, crazy, epic boss, right? but you're talking seconds, and they're about to beat them, and then they just drop down this huge bomb, destroys them instantly, and then they walk away in a cool explosion while they walk away from the explosion, kind of it. But it's like, I get that you need to move the show along, but they showed beginning to end of a mission, and that thing lasted what, 30 seconds. I'm confused why I would be excited for that.
Right. No, I agree.
So that's where it just kind of like threw me off. I was like, that was a really weird showing. Why would I want to see it like this? But I don't know. I'm still excited for the game. It got delayed to 2024 though, and we still don't know what they're going to do about the pricing and stuff. Some people are guessing
Yes.
maybe it could be free to play.
Remember when PlayStation was saying what kind of games will come to PC depending on what kind of game it is? It said,
Yeah.
hey, live service ones will come
This
right
could
away.
totally. I think
could
it
totally
already
be,
is announced PC. To be honest,
Gotcha.
I think it already is. I'll
All
never
right.
do PC. Let me see. Hold on. Yeah. It's already
It
a
is?
Steam
Okay.
page on there. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see
Anyway.
about that one. Marvel Spider-Man 2 introduces web wing fast travel to get you around its biggest map ever. I know you haven't been as hyped as I have been for this game. I'm just getting more and more excited about it the more I see. So I'm all in pretty much. I'm very excited, man.
I mean, I'm gonna play it. I'm sure I'm gonna like it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, for some reason, it's just like not something I'm like, ooh, I can't wait till it releases. Maybe because I'm just so happy with what I'm playing. Like,
Right.
I'm still Zelda. I'm still Starfield. I'm
Right.
still like Pikmin. I'm like, I don't like, stop adding to it. Come on. But so it's hard to like be excitement unless it's like something super near and dear to me, like
Sure.
Mario, for example. Like, I'm gonna have to play that instantly, and these come out the same day. So weirdly, I'm gonna be playing Super Mario Wonder over this game.
I honestly might be with you on that. That game,
So,
you know what it is? To me, it's not even about which game is better. It's just
yeah, it's not about that. I don't think better or worse.
right.
No, I
It's
don't
so
wanna,
easy. I feel like Super Mario Wonder is gonna be so easy to just grab it up and you're gonna get addicted to quick running through the levels, you know? Just like how Mario's always so good at that. So yeah, okay. Very cool.
Tales of Arise Beyond the Dawn was announced and coming November 9th, 2023. So it's just an expansion to the Tales of Arise game. And I mean, I played it.
Cool.
What's weird is I got like 90% through that game. I'm like right at the end. And then I was like, I'll finish it later. I still have yet to finish it.
Of course.
I liked it. Solid title. Thinking back on it and really trying to be as critical as possible, I'd say it's in that like a 8.5 range. It's a pretty good JRPG.
Okay.
Anyway,
Good to hear.
Honkai Star Rails PS5 launch is coming in October. So there's that. I didn't see an actual day. I just kept seeing October, but maybe there's a day now. But this game, I mean, so people who did Genshin Impact, right? It's their next game.
Mhm.
But I think this game just looks really, really neat. I do want to play this. So
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
we'll see.
Well, do you also want to play Foam Stars Open Beta Party on September 29th at 6 p.m.? Be there.
Hey,
October 1st.
I was
11:59
hating
p.m.
on the last reveal. This looks much better. I'll give
No,
it that.
it does look better. I
definitely
still want
looks
to
much
make fun
better.
of it though a little
I
bit.
still don't care, but it looks a lot better, right? I mean, it's still too much like Splatoon vibes, and Splatoon still looks much better. So it's hard for me to care about something like this. It's like
That is
you
true.
already it's an online multiplayer game, right? So it's like Halo Infinite existed, and this other game is kind of, it's a lot like Halo, but it's not. And it's like, even if it ends up better or worse, it's like, I kind of already playing Halo. I just don't want yet another, especially if it's an online multiplayer kind of deal. If you're gonna play another online multiplayer game, it has to be pretty distant in the way it plays and what it's about for me to also care about it. So that's just how I am with all that. So, but I just want to give props. Hey, it looks a little cleaned up. But again, I bet you $1 million this thing lasts a year or less, and it gets canned just like everything else. Because it's like, I don't see the audience for this.
Yeah, I don't know how much of an impact this is gonna have.
Obviously, at release drop, a bunch are gonna test it, play it out. Some may like it more than others and play it for like 2 months at most, even if it ends up being pretty good. and then fall off. Like, how many people are playing Destruction All Stars or something like that? You know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
right.
it's probably like a dozen people online right now, if it's even open. I don't even know. Did they shut that down?
I don't even know, to be honest.
I don't know. There's too much. We've already discussed. There's too much competition. This is not another one, and it's not looking nearly as good as its counterpoint. So I don't think people are gonna play it.
I agree with you.
Anyway,
Yeah, that's that. I'll you want to take this or you want me to read it?
yeah, I gotta take it. Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
So Final Fantasy VII Rebirth comes out February of next year. They showed a lot of stuff. Big thing being gold saucer things. That's really, really hype for me. So I'm pulling this article from Dustin Bailey over at Games Radar, and he touched on a lot of things that I also very much am in agreement on his focuses here. So Final Fantasy VII Rebirth got its release date of February 29th, 2024. At today's state of play, which not today anymore, alongside a new trailer showcasing loads of remake takes on beloved local locations and characters. Meaning, like, we got the Gold Saucer, like I said, but even things like Costa del Sol, the mansion, being up in the reactors, seeing a bit of them, like, popping out of the, wait, were these once humans? Kind of, level. So, anyway. So, yes, Final Fantasy VII nerds will probably be most into the new look at Vincent, which that is that I'm most excited about the Vincent stuff than anything else shown here. Even though obviously there was gonna have to be Vincent in this part of the game, but it's still just really nice to see him. But the author here says, "I'm all in on the new Gold Saucer. Look at those chocobo races, the dancers, that robot fighting game with the polygonal style cloud. I'm just gonna spend all my time in the minigame casino. Thanks."
There you go.
With the previous entry in the Final Fantasy VII Remake series cover in the Midgar City, Rebirth is taken to what the original game's introduction to its massive, open-ended, overworld map. So, like, yes, right where Final Fantasy VII Remake ends is right when you leave the city, right? So just like in the original game, you have like 10 hours where you're just in a city, and it doesn't feel like that grand in scope. I mean, for a city and just how much you can go up in it, a PS1 game, it felt really full. And then imagine when you walk out and realize there's a whole world to explore like this city. Blew people's minds. So they're doing the same thing here to where like that entire section was just one game, right? Very next game, you're talking what? 7 times the level of expansion to this world now that we've opened up to the whole overworld map. But we're able to now just run through it and behind the shoulder 3D view now. So
sure,
just super, 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 super all we ever wanted. So
can't wait, man. It's fantastic.
The new trailer seems to suggest it'll be pretty open here too, with a buggy to drive and chocobos to glide around on. Yeah, so they showed like, you remember the sand buggy? I don't know if you do, driving through like the desert or whatever. Super cool moment there. But actually being able to drive through it in like a 3D environment with the buggy, it looks super fun, And then you had a bit of like him getting on the chocobo and being able to explore the world map, like right on that. That looks super, super cool. And you can actually get like some levity with it and sort of get up on some cliffs with the chocobo. Super neat stuff. We also got some iconic story missions like the parade at Junon, which it was so awesome. In the original game where you're up into the Junon March, you have to like time the buttons with your walk to make it look like you're a soldier you're walking along with. And they did the same bit in that trailer of him having to like do the little mini game of the Junon. So that was cool. Throwback. And some fresh combat featuring characters like Kate Sith. There's also a bit of gameplay with both Cloud and Sephiroth in the same party. Of course, the biggest moment is probably near the end when Vincent shows up, confirming we'll actually see the fan favorite in this part of the remake trilogy. And again, like in the original game, he was an optional character. Same with Yuffie. Like you could totally not know they exist. I remember the first game not realizing she was an optional character. Somebody telling me. I think I made it too far where I could get her or something like that. I remember restarting. I could have just been a dumb young person just thinking like, oh, I got to restart. I didn't get it this moment. And maybe you can get later. I don't know. But I remember restarting from the beginning just so I can get Yuffie and then finishing the game that way.
Right, right.
Yeah, I'm curious if like they make them actually mandatory. I mean, I'm sure Yuffie because we've already gotten to play as her.
We already got players,
some,
yep.
Yeah. But I'm
That DLC
curious
was
what
fun.
they do. Now, if I was them, I would make it mandatory because there's just too cool. What makes Vincent cool is not just like, oh, he looks cool and has a cool like even story. The story to him is incredible. I mean, think about
Yeah.
it. Like that's pretty much kind of why Sephiroth exists. If you
Sure,
really want to
sure.
think about it, Vincent plays a big role in Sephiroth's mother and all of this stuff. So, anyway, but besides that, was the combat of Final Fantasy VII with Vincent. You can turn into like some Texas Chainsaw Massacre looking dude. You can turn into like a dragon, and it
That's so
actually
sick.
has like really neat battle mechanics whenever you transform. And he was so unlike any other character in battle, and it was just super cool, super fun to me. So
Looks amazing, man. It looks like they're starting to hit all the cool things that we imagined before the first part came out.
yeah,
Like, man, I
yeah.
can't wait to see this. I can't wait to see that. So
So what am I going to be able to like now I'm actually not doing turn based, right? I'm going to be able to be the Texas Chainsaw Massacre
it's awesome.
in 3D and just slicing people up. I guess so. I mean, why what are they going to remove that one? No way. And we're going to be able to see like the limit break forms. Oh, dude, it's going to be sick. Anyway, all
Can't
right.
wait.
Pre-orders are set to go live. Well, they're live now. Very important. I don't know when this deal is going away, but I posted on a group as well. You can get a twin pack. You buy Rebirth, you can also get the previous game and all of the DLC. So you get like the integrated version. Both games for the price of one. So $69.99, you can get Final Fantasy VII Remake and all its DLC and Rebirth.
It's a pretty good deal.
Or you can just buy Rebirth for the exact same price. So
And oh god, I did it last time.
If you don't have it, buy both.
I was gonna say the next thing, the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth Collector's Edition. I did it last time, and I don't regret it. But man, is it hard to say no to this. Another amazing statue that I could add to my
19
collection.
inches.
Oh
Sephiroth.
my god, I want this so bad.
$350.
This is what I paid last time, but god,
oh, I thought it was $250 before.
No, last time it was like $330 or something like that.
Oof.
God, I want it so freaking bad though. Oh man. Let me go look at the statue one more time. Hold on. Take a look at it. Collector's edition. Oh man, that looks so cool. God. Can I like buy it and they won't charge me until it comes out? Because then maybe I'd be willing to do
it. Right?
Oh man.
Yeah, and good luck. These things are gonna get as expensive it is, doesn't matter. This thing's gonna sell out immediately. And then you're talking like $600 minimum.
Yeah. I jumped on it the first time right away, but this time around I'm not. Let me see if it'll let me. I'm on the Square Enix website. Let me see if you can even still do it.
Oh, 7 hours ago, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth Deluxe pre-orders live at Amazon.
But it says deluxe. Is deluxe different than collectors?
Oh. Yep, you're right. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
The collector's edition is exclusive to Square Enix store. Never mind. So you don't have to look elsewhere there.
When is it available? The pre-order. Pre-orders are live at major retail. Oh, that's deluxe edition.
Let me send you the link. I can literally pre-order right now.
When did it come out again?
Enix's
February
website.
29th?
I don't know why you're having.
I don't
problems.
know. All right, whatever. I'm gonna do it. I don't care.
Okay, there, that link.
I'm gonna do it. Screw it. It's worth it. I gotta complete the collection, man. I already have Cloud on his motorbike, so.
Hold on. I haven't even seen it because I was just like, there's no way I'm buying it. So I didn't even like look at it. But okay, I want to look at it. I want to look at it.
Yeah, so it's that link brings me to the normal edition.
No. Then you click collector's edition. It's just
Yeah,
one of
I click collector's
standard,
edition.
deluxe, collectors, pre-order now, 350, or it lets me do it.
I don't understand why this is not. Oh, never mind. Never mind. We're good.
You got
Wow,
it.
$349 freaking dollars. Holy crap! It comes with the deluxe edition, the statue, which is all I really care about. Some DLC.
Oh, here it is. Okay.
Please choose an option below. I already chose an option.
I
Chose collectors.
mean, that looks pretty sick.
It does look amazing. Okay, whatever. Let's finish the podcast. I'm doing it. It's done.
Oh god, yeah, nice.
Only because they're not going to charge me anytime soon. That's the only reason why I'm willing to do it.
Oh, that is the case.
Yeah, they said they charge you 2 to 3 weeks before release
Oh,
date.
cool, nice.
So that to me, that's like,
yeah.
That's a few months from now's problem.
Because you can, I mean, you could now save up.
I could cancel it if I
mean?
ever wanted to, too. Yeah.
Also to note, PS5 exclusivity blocks Final Fantasy VII Rebirth PC release until at least May 29, 2024. So just know that's not bad though. That's only like 3 months, but it looks like it's at least a few months before it can release PC. But you know, even if it's 6 months later, I don't care.
Yeah.
Now I'm playing it day one immediately. There's no way I'm waiting, but
Can't wait,
you know,
baby.
I'll replay with mods.
True.
What I'm curious is how open is it really? Like
I am very curious.
Now that because that's quite the overworld map back in the time. There's a lot of going to different locations, going with that. If now I'm just doing the same thing but on foot, traveling to all these places, how exactly is the scale translated? That's
I'm very curious. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, it's been pre-ordered. Okay. That's it. I got Cloud and Sephiroth now, so we're good.
Dang, dude. Stick them side by side. That would be like pro gamer status.
Awesome. Yeah. Now I just need that freaking Nier statue, the $3,000 one or whatever the hell it is. Oh my god, dude. That would be Jesus Christ. That would be nuts. But yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm really looking forward to it. So yeah, as you can tell by my pre-order I just did. So
yeah, I don't know, the showcase as a whole, it's whatever to me, but I'm a Final Fantasy VII fanatic, so
right, that pushes it up a little bit. Yeah.
All right. Next here, Unity introduces a controversial pre-install fee. Pretty much all developers are insanely upset and don't know what to do and are literally gonna can't close their games down from whatever store because they don't want them to be selling anymore, because anytime these games now sell, it's going to cost them. Now, popular game engine creator Unity Software announced an update to its pricing and packaging plans, which will go into effect on January 1st, 2024. The new pricing plan introduces a fee that activates and charges developers of high-performing games each time the title is installed by a user or player. The justification is that each time a game is installed, Unity Runtime is also installed. Okay, but so anytime something gets installed, there's going to be a fee sent to the publisher for them selling a copy. So, starting in January, games will qualify for the Unity runtime fee after the game has passed a minimum revenue threshold in the last 12 months and passed a minimum lifetime install count. Unity says it has intentionally set high revenue and install thresholds to avoid impacting smaller developers. Unity's current threshold for Unity Personal and Plus is set for games that have made 200,000 or more in the last 12 months and have at least 200,000 lifetime game installs. After hitting the threshold for those plans, developers will be charged 20 cents per install over the threshold, so 20% of the pro and their advisor game to make $1 million in the last 12 months. So let's see here. Game $60. What's 20% of $60?
Okay. $12.
Okay.
20%, you said?
No, just
you said 20%.
Hold on. No, never mind. I read this wrong. This is just 20 cents every time a game sells. So if a game sells 10 million copies, let's do 20 cent times 10 million copies. What would that be? If it's like a super popular pop-off game. Let's just say 1,000,000 copies. That's like normal, super high grade indie game that pops off like Cult of the Lamb, or is what I'm thinking. Something like that. So let's just do like 1,000,000. So it would be 20,000 is what they'd have to
20,000.
pay.
Okay. I don't know. It seems a little much, but I think I want to say since this, they've said like, "Hey, we hear you guys. We're gonna have a talk about this." Like, I think they
Yeah,
realize
they didn't actually say or do anything. They just said what you're
Right.
saying. Like, oh yeah, we may
Right,
change
right.
something. So they're not retroactively doing this. Let's say a game's already out and released or whatever like that. It's not like it's anything released after January 1st. So people got a little confused there. They can't retroactively charge things that people have already downloaded. You know what I mean? But I'm curious about the game though, right? What if the game's already released? Well, they're not retroactively charging that amount prior, but after January 1st, are they now charging on any download? And if that's the case, maybe that is why Cult of Lamb is removing their game off the store, being one. But regardless, there's just a lot of people upset because they have spent years working for a game in this game engine, right? Let's say they're 4 years deep, right? And they're pouring all their life savings into this thing whenever they're like a smaller thing trying to start. All the way to just a bigger company. Doesn't matter. You're still spending 3 or 4 years on a game. Well, you're about a year away from release, and then this happens. What do? You can't just be like, well, we can't afford these fees. Let's just jump over to a new game engine. You're kind of stuck. So now you're stuck with these fees that you don't want and didn't know existed when you first started the project. That's the big problem with all of this.
No, I agree with you that seems to be the big issue. I don't even know what they were thinking, to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But it's a pretty big major thing. There's just so much news that I feel like I could go a lot more in it. But we got the general grasp of it though.
Right.
Like
right.
I don't really know how much more I guess I could really say on the subject other than this is really screwed up. These are the fees involved. There's no way. Like, I mean, they've pretty much destroyed their engine with this one thing. Like, so, I mean, this isn't like, oh, some people are mad on Twitter. This is like the majority of game development is like, no, screw you, we're out. Like,
Right.
unless they're just stuck with having to go through with it because they spent too much time in the engine. But this is going to greatly hurt their revenue
Shit.
projections, the whole 9 yards. If they were having any money problems before, which they were, now they're really going to be hurting. So they
Oh boy.
Anyway, I also want to go on this, and this isn't so. There was a major Xbox leak. Anyone and everyone's talking about it. I don't get the majority of the talk on why I'd care too much. Like, it's all kind of seems like dumb stuff. Like, Xbox wanted to buy Nintendo. It's like, I mean, I'm sure they did, but that's so out of the realm and just dumb that I don't know what I can really say on that. Like, other than it's stupid, and of course that's not going to happen, and of course they'd want to. Any company would want to have them, right? That's kind of no duh. Now, at the same time, yes, it's cringy that Xbox is like actually seriously considering it. Like, what the hell? Like, there's no way you're getting that buy, or why are you even doing this? It's pretty stupid. But and there was a lot of other stories, way bigger things like next console plans of like how exactly they're gonna do the next console, how exactly they're gonna do like a refresh of the console, almost like a mid-gen upgrade sort of thing. They have that in there, so that is coming at least back in 2020. So this is all pulled from 2020. Plans can change since this date. So any of the leaks you see, yes, they could change and be different from then because things change a lot over time. But just know that these were actually the plans, though. These
Right.
aren't like rumors or anything like that. This is
Right.
just what they were going to do at this point in time. So the most exciting thing for me is this document that I included here of ZeniMax management forecasts. And they've pretty much got the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years here. Here's of basically from 2019 until what 2024 is pretty much what this plan line is. So like, because Doom Eternal, no, that came out 2020. Yeah, no, sorry, that'd be
2020, yeah.
2020. So this would be 2020 to 2025. So 2020, we got Doom Eternal and DLC, which did hit. The Elder Scrolls Online Grimoire, which did hit. Fallout Wastelanders, that didn't happen. I don't know what that would be, unless that's the TV show, and that's still being worked on. I know
Yeah, I
that's
don't know
being
about
worked
that
on,
one.
but that could be that. And then like Deathloop. Deathloop, I think, did hit 2020, if not 2021, but I think it released 2020. Anyway, and then they were also going to do a free-to-play and mobile thing of Fallout Shelter Online and Project Whirlwind. Unsure what those are. Project Whirlwind. The following year, so they were actually planning on Starfield releasing in 2021. So this proves there was a lot of stories going around, a lot of pushing back and forth on if this was true or not. Of did Xbox actually be like, because there was a story. Starfield was going to release, Xbox acquires them, and they're like, hey, you should just take more time. Take all the time you need. Have this be as good as you can. And they
Right.
were like, okay, cool. And then, release like a year or two later and just work on it more. Well, there was a lot of people thinking that that wasn't true and that Bethesda was just, like far way behind schedule and they weren't making a good game and it was just crap. And, it was releasing way ahead of schedule just because they were panicking and need money or something like that. But this proves that no, Xbox did definitely be like, no, take more time with it. And
Right.
so I just wanted to I thought that was interesting. Anyway, because it was supposed to be planned for 2021, and it just recently came out, 2023,
Yeah.
so 2 years later. Elder Scrolls Online expansion, another one, which did happen. Redfall, I mean, that got pushed to earlier this year instead of 2021. And still rough though. Doom
That
Eternal
was a rough one.
DLC, that happened. Ghostwire Tokyo happened. Fallout Worlds for Fallout 76. I don't know anything about 76, so I can't comment there. Project Hibiki, I don't know what that is. Project Yubu, don't know what that was. Project Wanderer, unsure on those. We may have gotten those, and they're just game titles that I'm unaware. One of those is probably Hi-Fi Rush, right? Something like that.
I would guess, yeah.
And then Indiana Jones game was supposed to come out in 2022. That looks to be so. That's probably is coming out next year. Since that's been in development longer than I expected.
They announced that a
Here's
while ago.
the important one: Oblivion remaster. Now Morrowind is my favorite. I played Oblivion after, and I was still like, ooh, this is still really good. There's a lot of bugs, issues, but I still like the game.
Right.
Morrowind I felt was just polished and really good. I didn't really that wasn't the buggy era yet. I'm sure there was bugs with that game, but you know what I mean. Like
Of course.
Bethesda known now is just this whole everything's always broken and jank and da da da. But that wasn't the case before Oblivion. Oblivion kind of started that. Anyway, that being said, though, it was just the start of it, and it was still in pretty good shape, and it still was a great game, and I still would love to have an Oblivion remaster. That hypes me up really, really, really high. So, and it makes a lot of sense, too, because Elder Scrolls 6 is so far out there, I would definitely eat up an Oblivion remaster.
Oh, yeah.
Love
Everyone
to
would
play
love that, man.
Yes. So that's really exciting for me. Elder Scrolls Online, another expansion, and then Starfield DLC. So, I mean, they already said, and we announced it before, they definitely plan on doing DLC, but they've always planned on be doing Starfield DLC. So, more confidence that, yeah, we're going to get a lot of Starfield DLC.
There's no concern there.
Yeah. And we have Doom Year Zero in DLC. This is
intrigues me.
interesting.
Yeah.
So, do you think it's like a prequel?
I think
right?
so, and I can't believe Doom Eternal was 3 years ago. So that gets me excited. I think it's time, you know.
Because I
So
thought they'd be working on like Quake or something, but I don't see Quake
sure,
up in here.
maybe they
So
just see.
they
I
probably
don't know.
really are doing Doom Year Zero, which, well, again, this is the official documentation on what they actually were planning. So Doom Year Zero is probably going to happen anyway. So that, I guess that's what they've been working on this whole time.
Yeah, I think they probably just realized how popular Doom is again. You know, people really want it. So
Yeah, I just wasn't
excited, man.
expecting like 3 in a row. But I
Me
don't.
neither.
I'm not hating on that though. I will definitely play
Right,
3 in a row. So.
right.
Maybe
Awesome.
he's doesn't have as many like powers and stuff. You know what I mean? Maybe he isn't
Yeah,
agile, and they try to like slow it down. Maybe it's gonna be a lot more like slow and gruesome and heavy or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
I
Could
don't know.
be.
Yeah, very interesting. Project Kestrel. Don't know what that is. I'm sure if I googled some of these projects, I could find it, but I don't know.
Might
I'm too
pop right
lazy.
up. Yeah.
Elder Scrolls Online expansion again, and then Project Platinum. Then at year 5, Elder Scrolls 6, Project Kestrel expansion, a licensed IP game. Here's what would that licensed IP be? Is that happening? Because I mean, outside of Indiana Jones, is there a license that we're aware of like Bethesda? Cause I can't think of one.
Oh,
Here's what that would be. Um, Fallout 3 remastered, another huge one. I like Fallout 3. Jank. Still don't really love it though. Really loved Fallout New Vegas. That's the one I loved. But maybe if it's like a polished, clean up version of Fallout 3, maybe that actually get me to play through the game. Because even though I liked it, I still just remember having too many problems and then just fell off. Even though I definitely thought their world building was super cool, characters, plot, everything like that. It's just like, I don't know, the way it felt, like the controls, the
yeah.
shooting, whatever. The vault's really cool though, like the vault, vats. Is that what it's called? Where it's
Oh
like
yeah, that's
where you
where I
get
had
to
like the system
select.
where yeah.
Yeah, I could play on that all day, every day, and that was really, really neat. But it still is just a like half broken game, and it's not for me when it's that much jank. Anyway, Elder Scrolls Online expansion again, a Ghostwire Tokyo sequel. So they had this plan before Ghostwire came out. Do you think something like this would still happen though? Because it didn't really sell that many
It
copies.
didn't.
I mean, it didn't do bad. It probably sold, maybe it sold 1 million copies. Is my guess, right? Let's see if we can.
Some numbers here.
Um, what I already forgot the name of the stupid game.
Ghostwire Tokyo.
God, I was like Tokyo Mirage Sessions is what I was about to type. Um, Tokyo Wire. Yeah, I can't find an answer. Anyway, I don't know. Whatever.
All right,
Dishonored 3.
that's exciting.
Now, is it though? If the last two things of like Dishonored
Well,
wasn't
okay, that's a good
bad,
point.
or
That's a good
Deathloop,
point.
or like Deathloop wasn't bad, but it wasn't. I was like, eh. And
But
then
Deathloop
I
was at
was,
least a game that people liked, right?
yeah,
Redfall was
yeah.
just like
And then Redfall was
Jesus.
real bad. But like for me, it's like, well, can they actually do Dishonored 3 and do it well? But regardless of all that, it's still super hyped to just see Dishonored 3. Super, super cool. And then finally Doom Year Zero DLC. So,
That's so exciting. That has me the most excited about out of everything, I think.
yeah.
So
Mine is that Oblivion, dude. I'd be so hyped. Okay. Last thing here, I just want to mention Resident Evil 4 Remake, Resident Evil Village, Death Stranding, Assassin's Creed Mirage announced for iPhone 15 Pro. They showed, here's another year,
you
another
know,
phone, right?
right.
But when I first saw it, I was like, dude, that is so impressive. That's so cool. Now, am I going to play it on my phone? No. But
Yeah,
it's just the fact
it's
that it
crazy though.
can do it. It's
Right, it
really,
is.
really neat. And it definitely will bring in, like, okay, well, if it can handle this, well, let's think of a game that'd be a little better for phone. Like RPGs, whatever, but like, where not necessarily super gameplay heavy, but could still look and really beautiful to these types of level of graphics. You could definitely just Now we know it's capable of making a really cool game looking that great, and then just having it work for phone, and it be possible. But then I think on it a lot longer. At first, I'm really blown away, and then I'm just like, well, it's been a really long time since PS4's release, because these are all technically PS4 games. I'm imagining it looking to the quality of a PS4, but just on your phone, right? And PS4 came out, however, 2014, so technically almost 10 years. So if you really think about it, phone tech being 10 years behind where the consoles are at is honestly what you would expect anyway.
Yeah,
but
I don't
maybe
think that's
we were
crazy,
just so stagnant for so long of like the next jump, and then we finally got it that we were like, wow,
Right.
Otherwise,
I think that's all it is. We're just it's just perspective, But yeah, I probably won't be playing it even if I had the phone. I won't be playing it on there.
It's still just, I mean, it's still
cool,
really weird and cool to see.
So, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
And then I just want to mention Ever Crisis. I was playing that Final Fantasy VII mobile phone thing. It's
right.
I remember being hyped for this, being like, oh, it's a lot like Final Fantasy VII original game, right? But it's on mobile. No, they just it really is just mobile trash. It's BS. It doesn't even.
I got you.
Don't worry about it. It's like I'm
just trash.
Immediately disappointed. It's like, nope. What I should have expected this, right? Anyway, and then Star Ocean Second Story R released a demo on Switch and Steam. I was playing on my Steam Deck, playing on my Switch. I'm definitely going to want to play it on my Steam Deck, the actual game, because it runs at 60 and looks a lot better, where the Switch version's 30. This does matter, because even though it's a JRPG, it actually has an action combat system when you go into the battles, so frame rate's actually really important. But I'm so hyped, because this is like one of my favorite little PS1. PS1 is my favorite system. I think I've said this many times in the past, because of the JRPGs. Yeah. This being one of the reasons. This was like high up there in like my top list of the JRPGs on PS1. Well, they're bringing it back, but it's not just that. They're doing the entire environment new 3D graphics. So like all new buildings, all blah, 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 new rocks, new landscape, whatever. But the characters are the 2D sprites from the PS1 version, and like that cool HD 2D sort of bit. And then the rest of the environment is like a 3D graphical current game kind of thing as you're running it. Because when you play like Octopath Traveler or something like that, or Triangle Strategy, the environment and the characters are the HD 2D and pixel art. This game is not pixel art. The environment is just 3D. And then the characters are the pixel art of the 2D HD or whatever. Looks really, really neat. And it definitely, cool. Like I was saying with the Tomb Raider 1 through 3, this also somehow pays a really cool homage to like PS1, to where it makes it feel PS1 like, but a new aesthetic to it. So super cool.
That's very cool.
So I'm really, really hyped for that. And that is the best in the series. If Star Ocean in general, that's the one. Second Story R. Anyway, or Second Story R is the remake. All right, new game watch, and we'll get out of here. Resident Evil 4, Separate Ways, DLC, dropping the 21st, all platforms that it's released on, which basically not Switch. Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty, here we go.
Excited.
September 26th. Separate Ways, that comes out tomorrow. Today's the 20th. Okay. Anyway, Cyberpunk will get 26. El Paso Elsewhere. Xbox, and Xbox Series X, Xbox One, PC, September 26th. Minico Night Market, Switch and PC, September 26th. My Time at Sandrock, PlayStation Switch, Xbox, September 26th. Paleo Pines, all platforms, September 26th. Infinite's Trash, Dragon Quest, The Adventure of Die, I do want to play this. All platforms, September 28th. Sonic Frontiers, The Final Horizon, all platforms, September 28th. And again, shout out to Sonic Frontiers. It surprised me. It's a good game.
Yep. I know you felt pretty strongly about that one, so.
All right. Well, see you guys later.
All right, later, guys. Peace.